follow you now so the one gym now fe also atwa from 5 cities I got him 200 Ghana cities so ball na options neighbor na fe wa follow na momo pin ba na bo also pin shema na fe wa twa bi usika no dia na no so abedam na nuama e kama every amount scratch for we ne dey fa ho gym na also epekakra Pasco Halbar capsule so ma darome na no pay say liver and a problem no e wo say the maka no doctor e declare so liver nti no mo apomodem anso atechema na asem bia enuama ntimi nko emfa mo agitum say doctor ka de nemum no wo aduro bia wo benom friend her Pasco Halbar capsules and betimi aboadrey one no wo yare eboa and afi wo nyare nso a one no de bon ho ban say the bear ne grievances some no be you ho and so media film 0557453579 now what in common no pay ye rem e wo Sicoms Connect Limited wo ma daroma na Sicoms some controls e ba ne sam e traveling sembia obe se obo and adwuma Europe and sembia North America US ne Canada obe so Kobe South Africa where South America and I saw do any and so much Nina no more chance traveling for job opportunities and I study abroad Nina no womu be at my name no say oh per juma obi to say bia driver be oh per juma oh any truck driver where water and I say bia Tyler Nina no pamo at the makonko cross so ama makoya juma auto mechanics Nina no momra midwife for and I feel juma we general nurse I want you bet me Edward to quite Sicoms so mo das ronko and sam woman nika news cancer o baby bia wie ansan watua e de amomo no ana mo das ronko no o pre world cup ni bi nso akwa betimi afre number 0553732982 na fe no mo edim enko me dimafo e Dr. Time da so Dr. Daruma say e yare ben and how I drink say a stroke and I say me a prostate and a problem and some a woman at the man and say me make us a one somebody day the bia was said a bang and I will atom now so there's a unso no how no mu hadria na the oma obemi obedi kind at the amount so on it Dr. Time that so akasa one more drone and pound so that Dr. Time that so a juma buakwa Google School Johnson and a doctor one more a crown so pokuya mayera 0244774282 na one Dr. Time that so edim enkomo tabia ni o ye rom na fe ye dita kum ne mu adepa na enre said e bia ka no said e bon de ro na ye ni agye no because adro ya ye bi e de amaye pa na de ka no so ye bem a wontie atenka won pem we your bansom the same thing out the ball and the capsules bi enuama be kama no takum no capsules ni esisiare and e be yi from malaria ni nyina no with the Halbar mixture and also back 0243686861 now what do you come on now immune system no exercise and untina immunity supplement abaya ya bon de drone de mu de and I for no ma to me say wanum and shada nya onyo ni na no na kire say eya adwuma ye e woni padua no na immunity the attend some support immune system no support general well-being and I feel who tie me na no pay won antika krabia na wani so brew asa wo yare wo nyare emowa na ye mre unya adua bi na afo no ma ebe kenya wo mu amanuama aye kama bebi ato adro bia no wo so pekantanka pharmaceutical wo mo research wo ma ye do ma dro ababon chenu pebi anom immunity wo benya bia to yo ba wa fefunu na se o ma koda no fa krani ni fe dumienu a o ma ne bia nye ye yenko router fo so ye na router fo wo mu age wo mu din pa emre bebreni ana router product enom ngaba na router mixture na eba no malaria dia eno ana malaria fo nyina wo mo ken wo tiaze ebo adwuma pa se de name yeah, Casembia, meter away, prepaid about 2 meters because said yeah, a drain away, sapem and a malaria, tenemum, a drain so a d to say, any pedianum, to say, saya, dianu, malaria, beer film, intimation. Yes, I won't be the Mekan for at the amount. Nam life for no router life for no and no any pedian mojanuma juma and Mamma Jani dear Frusan ye on 1 hour Sano 93 to the Numbi and Mamma Jan Summa flow, router tonic, typhoid fever drew, root and ray, our drama so be a toa drobiano, would also per router, mister, and as a router life in be and your Maya Kama 0244485632 Nafe. What do you come on Maminko be a Halbar clinic? Limited na ye ni nkoma no doctor wono ebo adwuma so for rasta no waso wani no glaucoma na semia cataract bi ane hawadwe obi a ne wayɛ mrempembema o ye bema insom afon anaso yo ba o menses problem ani nyina no wasebra stroke ade obi ato forma doctor semon famani enche kumase kwada so dwunase your main market na chi ane ebo adwuma mo doman kronso ya Beneza preschool 0541565199 na wadi nkomo yerem our charismatic ventures was a drono and some way our mister and any G capsules no bano genital rashes ebia nkomo no we oba we be ma wo shevia na nnuama bia begusu nsa bi o pai na ye kro we de no madre bi ebeyi e de fro gono na wanya bi syphilis nso a wadrom our mister ne capsules yi and obabu azara man capsules no enso medro bema bia wa emre no wo de pebi na afi no topa ya bia obo nsa wodem enso bahindi ba Mr. Diabetes and afi treaty malaria fever 0246348334 na wadi nkoma Alaska bema dem IF yenrom our Alaska mo family run shop wo and anopeni ahwe nioma ego nioma ne de bra and you man fair pass ya TV grass and open as modern TV stand open so see o dem blind curtain and open as open and the wall person design bia wo mo de bia bo so de woni bi no and answer de wa open na wa ba shop na bi no fa ba kire no wo de picture na kire no be na bi enso na de amakumasi adum and ya bo aduma o Mrs. Anoche Plaza ya ne boss FM dia no twa cross ka tip tolling inside shapers we be at chairman K24 bia wo mo edu mo Jumana 0554114878 now what in komo Yeremo cement vital Barmiston capsules a guy na no sepa na we bema na utie me 2 minutes no we bema de ese ujina so be ese 45 minutes bema biano also standard air 45 your ball crown your ball 90 minutes 2 year 45 another one 45 nanka 90 obey and one ton na mo we 15 minutes now we free one day akoma no moye wodro a guy unya prekasa preka no bia e man no so the bomo my menses no e flow ye mama think akra dasronko 0240616061 offer doctor obesho kwa faso enuma dre na power specialist eba hospital ye ma me doctor kosu adua ya fatty liver hepatitis B nsembia obi a kidney or problem no mo fa na fibroid dan yem ne ye fra kase aso onyem fibroid di ana hana dwen wo ye adua heba malame saba wadro adua ya kofka eba Mr. Obo wana fe adua heba tonic wanumato a woni adua be beboa o akra kobenya ACP road wo ewo power hospital bus stop Kumasi Feyase Bosomtwi road ewo adua ya junction mo amo ene takra de ya wana GS wo 0244544422 nafe woni ya ensom ngadi enkomo ye ram nafe fancy abane mo amemfa we ntwato na fancy emre natural company limited omo the Proslav capsules anaba na Proslav no yesa wo Johnson sem enkoye obo odonso anende emu apan bienu nafe later o complaining wadro no enye true man capsules ne premature and afe weak correction so a ye be yan wadwuma to adre bi na onuma eno ebetumi aboa na afe Congo ointment wona mani sa hawa aduna wunya Congo ni bia eno nsum abeko na enuama kama kra no bo na diaper na rashes eguna wadro eno Congo 0249 017101 0249017101 afi wadi enkomo Lawson beverages and afi high sense later yedo mo nkomo enso ebetoa so edi ama fancy di Maria
well supremo medasina yemre na afi yemra mehwe yen Amuzupi question of the day proudly brought to you by Amuzupi herbal medicine and chese infection a draw say wo your ba wo your bema na wanya syphilis and sebi agonorrhea nom ene cheso bi anate ede aya oni nyina no we tatahwe Dr. Muzunsa no ne I say nuaba ne chese nuane hini no ayamakoma ko 24 ano de ente chese aya dan abako ebeyi ade ne de fini peduane mu na ma onso wadon kama na ene yan question of the day Amuzupi adaroma no I say musa so player of the week enso hwan I wo hwe atwa kene so abenya Rafinha no Michael Olise, Antoine Semenyo, Rasmus, where Scott McTominay, Gabriel Martinelli, Ana Luis Diaz, Womo, 6 players, and a player of the week, Cabo.
Well, Antoine Semenyo, player of the week. Remember, call for Semenyo. Making a debut. I was good man of the match. The Brian Ording. Okay. Pedro Wanso. I think Chen say Scott McTominay and all call every man from Napoli and no a messenger. What the about Benji fancy Syria say Rafinha and all call de Amano. Okay, Emmanuel Kwame Boateng say only Rafinha, no one. Emmanuel Boateng from Accra. Fadama and what the message job Anana K and so Rafinha and Afe Pedro Jr. na Pedro Jr. and so Rafinha Nanwano and so Diamano Albert Adade Damoa was please, I'm Arsenal fan, but Rafinha is not easy to decide a Classico and no message or no and so Diame ne Anupo and Jumede so when see a culture GH or Rafinha and what did he and so Maba Kwame Phillips Rafinha all the way Abdul Rashid and so Kodiama Rafinha and what they aba way of Kofi Frank and so message Rafinha and one call of them Amanano pay at Sene origin fansa Anyasame to Accra Suleiman Mohamed Rafinha cause winning man of the match or Classico and easy cry and one also day about Derek Achiman on Facebook was Rafinha and Ameko and them Amanu Odro Nyanko and some Rafinha Nene make Kodiama element from dropping off one say was a kofo Rafinha and element and so as about Kingsley Ado and so as Rafinha and walk on the Amadines vote in the area because any new music or comfort Jewa and so much as so Lisi and Diaz and Mubako and Woko and the Amano fancy.
What may I say now? We a chi was say a vini no Ebertona Bamana Fe Abayaro GHSA one also to the Ama Rafinha Yabua Saviola F40 at the Ama Antoine Semenyo and this one says hello fancy I'm Kokulan Lord watching the show live from Takwa. I'll go for Rafinha and Tete Henford say the best player I Rafinha no and odd 40 at the Ama and Kunsu Quadro Chrome say Gabriel Martinelli and I feel when you like to flip so say Rafinha and also 40 a day Aman and Anope live with the show on Sanope my phone say almost 13 hours omudi
yeah
anti and you say bia code bia keke and betway rewards or see chat nenya points over convert e dia yeska wa wo dia and you bia dia e betway also no I am amudi and project e be we show edema team man focus real quick now you go foreign about 12 hours 10 7 5 in that order BW31
BW31
B7C AEB I 12 hours BW31 B7E 797 and here 10 hours
good
and BW31 B7C FBC 7 hours
Barca Football Club.
Okay, and last code BW31 B7D 69B and no four codes and 18 minutes after 10 live on Wontumi TV digital satellite and then Monday and of course as usual Monday is here when it Monday
Chairman, first we are stubborn. Oh, sponsor there. No other fancy. Chairman. Fancy. Chairman, you are strong. Oh, yeah, that's so. You're betting in a time we share because now what's your night chikakra? Abada be abeshamo. A human koso. Some share a year sports. I walk Ghana there. I can confidently confirm. Say. A year Wontumi sports no I don't know number one just say a star BRB and I would bo that's right na Tapuku baby o bia on samra so otomua
baby bishop e wo bia
bishop wo bia on samra
adwuma sisi
on samra adwuma
na so on two car okay ti hwama me say bishop atika
otomua ba na vini ekizizo akasa
nice
mene ekizizo akasa okay just adwuma no Wontumi sports ebeguso ayekese na be kese ya na ho anso no obi atie abrochire me wo ho ne ade ya yi nyina ahwa no obi a no etie mo ye kese mo ye tough eno ti no me sorry anopa na Wontumi bintie Wontumi sports bibia no ho ameye what I say I one just a point nko anti no ana
that's all.
Chairman, what class at some cookie?
Chairman, Chairman said to know ya tell you because Chairman and let them the massa where yagani when they only take it your own buffalo. Only take it your own buffalo. Chairman that's so because them say time on common started say question on your my Kakra Chairman wallahi
oh baba
I'm not talk with more and more the
for prerudo more for prerudo
bishop or the member said triple I talk with the suko hey Chairman I mean you baba so there and been come said there and some of the more kotokomo dia ne adin na na nyoma e koso Ghana league akwa na am person of discourage man Chairman league
I kotoko de minim say mamini kancha santeman na mencha santeman ra yura ye hene otumfo se tuwa baby asantokotoko hene a ya santeman ra ne nkwaso odo ansoso na kotoko soso ye ne dia na sesia no enam MPP ntino aya ne dru baby na mame som no yasum kwan bebre so ane ye de ye ba minim say mre bi baba kotoko chairman de medibi hey yeah minim say mre bi baba medibi
wow
yes na se me di so a me de gaga yesem hey sikane patapa me de befam amatimu no aba back said na bra na Herbert Mensa wo so ye no Herbert wo so ye no sabre ni iswa asafo yehu bi enti meka ne nyina de abom de hyehye aka ho a what you say baby akotoko kodro no obia no behunu but said ye Yesu ka kire Mary say memre nso ye no enu bi na ne me meka kire say memre nso because adwuma bi e de be ma obia na wo say wotime yire wo ho na wotime ye na wo ye ni ye soso e san say ye pese ye boa MPP na 2028 yes aba power nintino enema bebre wo ha menka na mom se me ba ye yidia I will be the first a friend say club chairman to say moruno kra bia metimi de na ba no aba be coach aye kotoko yes made the international coach and I'm the baba se me duro so antina meka se me de sheshe na gagai what you say na made players akesia enso so a omo bobo te say Real Madrid mo ani Man U mo Man City mo ani Arsenal mo ani Chelsea mo so no e di bi so beba aba befra na
the ugly for top players $4 million.
This is what we
3 million euros.
Sikana nya kokra na wo Ghana na wo the money nya ho na wo aya ha na wo aya Ghana ane ye wo what you say enti player bia obeba ye bia oba ye a efia mema na tremu ni o da brochire kro oni bisa tremu oh eni no kre gwaja yes efia mema kasa mema o matremu kasa mema o matremu ye na brochire kro onya bi yes
Chairman so the guy ni ayesem ya be ye kotoko
ana patapa na sika no ana sika so kam ayesem kam
na ma ye fe
oh Charlie ha be say gig we America ho asem no ebesi
wow
be say gig maka no Wontumi ha be say ebesi
oh chama
oh
na tim kofi
oh be say ebedi me say ye besum ye wurade asanteman
so da bi ewura ka say ni bibia no korokona da bi ase e ma no enso mabako so any adjacent na enso aye Monday night football our Bramano Kasai no your games ano ababa so duro for ni na ana la Vicia Signori almost game no and also mabako so sansa aye Juventus abodi eti abobokua ye fano san Cremonense omo game no enso aye 7:45 and ana tree ana so much abaso to Blasman no masa asara the last time kwa we kwaya adwuma no sempo no mamo metena fiam kohwe manfo no ma enso manko Sansa Cremonense die woman shabe fadenom ani ade ensom managers abasa match ni mu a enom aye serious ani man nyina no wo so game ebesi abanti Juventus no ensom anu na onum sam no kasai ye wo Paris Saint-Germain wo so match abaso mo body etia aye Paris FC namre ye omo game na chese no aye ni a ye kan say no so league match amateur sa game no ensom abaso no mo no aye ni for sa Coupe de France na chese no ensom aye cap gamer and also Mabakos and then na Casino Sharak Mama aye Paris Saint-Germain for no woman manager aye Luis Enrique or confirm woman squad atches and you may woman some other cross match anymore about 8 o'clock our park aye to France and Paris Saint-Germain Bobakua ye for some Paris MC you know and some game about squad anymore na just aye cap game no manager Babarenke aye changes aye day you can say rotation abaya jumana so ni na che no wo ba mi aye start 11 mo ancestor Dembele nom ane aye Desire du afei wo ba nya Vitinha nom ane João Neves nom wo ba nya Chesa William Pacho ane Chesa Warenza Emery Bradley Bacola Nuno Mendes ane Chesa Berardo nom ama Chesa Lian Sabani Marquinhos ane Christian Kvaratskhelia Gonzalo Ramos ane afei aye Fabian Ruiz omo no a Chesa omo nyina so completely ayania cancer Paris Saint-Germain woman some squad our brano peno yere update and no some no and some adema yete for na manager no and some others watch us woman bought the last game obi who said yes match no and no some asukoi woman the same opponent and so boy ama chesam omo wini yedia nes on say aye derby a chese woman your rivals and some man Santana woman say match aye match woman some fani agro ama chese wono and strong team and a very way and some Coupe de France gamer and also Abakoso. Now report I mean as a player you found Hendrick Hendrick will be on and so the first goal. Now Andre first goal I watch no Andre can you massa the first start the first goal some other man Leon Andre will be a bra. Yes say you baby and just walk baby make I set the time about Real Madrid akwadai enya bomba could be walk so right from halfway line center circle no a 1 mile per Andre pass was mean fee Andre pass was mean tie what my boss so Panyai, not just agenda danet anymore. I'm a bias, yes, I could only happen in 1 year. Now, so says that could I was shedding your playing time, said you know, and some messy pan and Leon for game almost Anabokua. Your father said Lee and some Abawa Bruno and a kid first start, Unum South Cotano, and some Danya go Enra. Now, Andrew Kesse, you want to Cassa, Nania Japasane, what was some let me do Kunum Alcom and some our side competition will say, what about Leon and Chakwana so the same one cast awofie am sam ye cast o feel at home now said yes awofie bibia here we are very okay any ade achasana the teammate amana kroba na o say Leon said ye one some asu bomb born na no and some asu tin pa na your best work kan na no sir why you ready position be a coach no aba bese bi on aba bomb ade abotim ni bia no one Hendrick and some aba bonafe one somebody Jumaden and somebody abwa Olympic Lyonnais and yasama player your father Hendrick and somebody tuka you're also our France Odumsa Marcel Timonum Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang one also a cap game up on our game no Coupe de France Nyamaya Duman woman so and aya chasa bayo and ababona report amenya say Obama young get here no mo so mo chasa wabaya absent and yare says I game no ono so betimi abontenie woman messing green donom and it got peshayo nom and chasa boys akana call yes I game no abakoso chasa Obama young get here no and demenya no so monas game cap gamer and abaso yare so benya biabo na adeba ko enwa ye pa no say living myself timing mono when him say na ye cast omo manya minute no more and some about this season ye sheda nurubabia but messing grilled and so far wabo more minute aya 1953 minute and a player ye fan say grilled anom abo e for my goalkeeper ye fan say Sharonimo Ruli anos abo 1890 minute and sana Pierre Emile Hoybie and some about 1869 minutes. I know I so far yeah can say be a mini distribution edema I just a player some ball and some edema Marcel and some now Portugal okay say maybe kind of lost to Casa FC Porto one coach and Francesco Farioli I to say one more someone in the Casa Bea one some other standard contract at Yamatimo one and sign it on the president 10 year Andres Velas Boas okay no Basa, because only about Chelsea when I just we been join Terry when you know the Gunche. Kai one story that Mikel be said John Terry we took out Champions League not for last boss and Kwadani be at the Afram I Chelsea in Penfoy na flight to be to am froya Chelsea and Kwadani tete a business class and coach said John Terry mun kwa economy no say we be see wasum and yanka flight to the Kwadani to I dey say ai munyina mo ye pe Kwadana Crom do amono sorry o akwa economy coach se maintenance na the same flight and panifon coach no say any anka flight no and start you anka too o say already here na Valence Bois said the man wonom manager so president Tenema Club ye fan sam ayo Porto nei one Farioli I stand and ya call aye 2028 me no ka said ya me say kan nyina no and some understand wo call ayo Portugal league in Swa, what was a Porto? 5 points clear, and some our Sorona just from a beam. Now, report on the second time. Says hey, one was a contract na manager na sign no. One money to kasa say a basa and na ya kasa will be a kaso per coach na. One year can say termination clause. As answer nanu ya omuti kromo. And a Manchester United ebetuas kabefa Ruben Amorim every sporting akoi. Woman yama coach in your season kromo seta. And omutuas kakona Porto so okay. And your omu coach said yeah nanu ya no. Yete say Chelsea. And some say omalinke I am manager to club no so mo yan ntem na fe wo mo sum be aye termination aye clause no to atena bi say wo free outside Portugal nam oye say bi adwuma no aguso ekoso ye season but obesa wo fa aye coach na akodia wo mo so wo man yo kra no aye around 20 million euros ano aye ne kan say auto coach no ade free aye outside our bro transfer window and some ya 20 million euros no I was so to Adama Porto and Sana one some ama coach and abba now manager and kasa ye betia the calculations I am some dollars on paper no I just 1 year job as well coming in answer nania JSS desire our and we be na club no the same vision and he didn't told me nania G person why stand Adiama FC Porto Yentio Francesco Farioli
desire and as well it's a great emotion for myself, the staff, because I think it's an amazing proof that the club decided to give us to take a step in our direction and to especially to take a step together in this journey. So as you say, I think there is nothing more and nothing better that we can ask. It's a fantastic feeling, the desire to keep working together at the same rhythm with the same desire and as well with the same ambition. It's a great emotion for myself.
And Emma Francesco Farioli Estente. A your contract, Emma Bobo Fanasa, FC Porto, Archasano Peno, Yade, a yes, and seven at Debana, young Crossiana, young Co, a Germany, Amontesonano Peno. So when you time, Amonitarian Jumadia, yet the more a binum report. I mean, Hurricane, and on a bind here, va. Since after Arsenal, me who club will be able to stop it, and just a couple Arsenal Grano stop it by Grano. I'm saying I can't yourself by being Bentao because Obia Sansoja and Rapa 8-1. It drew a Hurricane to me. I was so bushy, but no pass it. Ediama just on one teammates on one shot. Just say, which Mr. Boysono will be an energy say you're selfish and you are Tim Quadano, woman so job brutal, just a buying for you, woman so other so budge. Say Hurricane about trying to Bamunchino report I'm in second and out of penny say one about the first player since Uriah Fanasa a yet Tino where Timo Konieska on 60 years ago and so she at least a year 20 goals on the first 3 Bundesliga season. Sebia Obafu for now Bundesliga one shall cry on the 20 goals the following season the third season same report I mean say Hurricane and some about the first player 60 years and he afraid and he ababenya player and the first second third a year season our Bundesliga one shall cry in the 20 goals Eddie one of some say cannot check former one also I want to sell your money abra one other some Western Day Hurricane Edward and some contract and some other man on the bra Menoka so almost say class no my chance one more Hurricane and settle them po can enya soon find from a ball and from a brand massa one about 10 to quite more because we'll be player what is Kakoto what did he do command I and a Sandra London and the Bessiero Premier League Ginemo Wakwaja title arena Brani at Demasa Munyama Chesorua Enya soon from more I am the ball ama Chesano I am commando some Koso now on said Diot Upamecano and some contract at the last week not news I come say woman didn't come out Cheso Upamecano and some other stente but I don't pay Max Airbile I know I just sporting directors no we want to say woman breakthrough now and commanding say I did be also more the Marco Dano Sikasem any years and in your womb and one Pempandia and it's as a contract and one Dododian one so my present at the Ama Upamecano and so listen one tenant Kabat one some step by step our bra one more chance and Tebia answer no and no some other bar now say where Nicholas Jackson now Jackson and some now report I mean said Yeri Camera report on the last season one soon your power 100 goals massa I'm sustained I call back to yes send yes country where I'm sending chi and I was a Quintero by Jomo Canning answer Nico Jackson ever come back to Chelsea and yes a permanent dono and no some other so what kind Mario Goza hey na couple Bible case we have to be able to because 2014 our Brazil partner Argentina and Germany and Yere Pampe extra time the Kai coach Joachim Lo say Bram ko na coach we are singing answer uni bono bo echa will be only a bam make Andrew Shala Asia crossing me from Bronco so bono bino wa mon jeto no so dead eye jidamu na Argentina for him so bram that time he go mu botugu I'm on a mess no aye jumana the bono ba no ma say no Wuniana, Wama Germany just our cap Jenny Diana, Wama Frankfurt, also more na refino. Na report I mean and say Wama da some anything come so no so best and Sharak me da say hi Wama got some production we you so Shadrack OKT ranking a precious born in here hi na Wama some and boy na kasa say Wama extended a contract I'm a Frankfurt and I don't pay no Wama say Wama so sign beyond this year na just say one of us was signed beyond 2026 and now over 33 years akobaso moka nantia say Jumadia Mario Goza ebeso stay our Frankfurt nemom so moka no sentia say anya Jumadia report amemesa kan say one betumi akọ Major League Centers nemo na chesenom ayeni kan say Major League Soccer no ye US amonte so ho ana just a player no so betimi akwa enom aye kakre fi amaso ye de banano pay no and some our show so Tottenham Hotspur ebesine wo munyan sake omu coach fan sa Thomas Frank but latest I mean yan say yes a players no mo ball and some Spurs more na say coach no ono kwa wa twenso mo be sake no anse yesem ohwe coach no ye bia wonya jatum se aye den be pam no mom aye matter of when said the bang ana pamo no eno abanto mo so mo chasa wo mo ya wa se manager no e twens and perform abe sake no eno ye kaso kasa wo pamo a wo bo free to £20 million bi ade e was so onom ade the backroom staff no wo mo je essence a shall contract no mo anti severance aye package no Nina drew around £20 million and sana. Wamosom atimia sake a coach no na arawosam say Rodrigo Bantanco. Wamosom Chelsea the team. And one to the fiancha crowd here. Wabaka 3 months on Timmy Mobos and say Wakwa surgery on a hamstring. And today, when you have some other call, I have 3 months snatches and who can seize you a place on a proper. Answer Kudus Munina Pra. I'm a James Madison, Omunina Propri. Yes, one about the 10th senior player. Wopra this season. And some our Spurs, Amaswaya. Now, sporting director, I get there of a call, but Fabio Paratici. Wabasu Oshe, Emma Tay, woman players, Amaso de Banino, woman de Baeria Ansana, one of Fabio Paratici, Abaco Fiorentina, one of some Aco because Metesa, Ayatemio Frankie, and run Mabaso Cotois, Nijumedian Elson today, Womanitama, January, Omaria Dia, one of some Abacoti, Manoka say, Tottenham Hotspur, one more Man City, Aaron Ghana, Yafano Oscar Bob, and we are one. Ebium else I Tottenham Hotspur. Woman sampe I Atletico Madrid and some player Yafano Conor Gallagher. One else I be a Jamansa can Tottenham for no woman swanya and almost so because woman shamu can cram a man for GDS Ayadia Gallagher and Ababana Fababa Twaso and some Adama Bobokua Yafano Suspects Ewa Brano Peno Yada update and some Abana Sedia Yaguswa Yaka and your coach no and some Asamino report I mean Manchester United woman say I was up by an Monday because watchana Nyamayarma Tuesday I was so because on my resume training Wednesday. And I know because man you about 1 game a week. Now it's a free cup games in Inamo. And I you some manage Europe. And a Monday and cause watching no one say I was so young in time because Michael Carrick in the crowd and I said Darren Fletcher about 2 games or Winibi. And I am queer no crash and say I plus no confidence our form boys I am fragile any day. And I was some by sir on the Quackable Manchester Derby no not just among who I said no and some Abasakonoma who coach you cry one of Baba such anymore and some man you ever brano peno and some Ayakakra a free on my sweater best answer mine city for no one more EFL Cup again every Yamia watching report to me can say women's game our Premier League in mo every 12:30 omo Elco Old Trafford omo Elbo Manchester United our way no I was so munya coach for na say no paramedic catch us last week at the assessor and I Michael Carrick and a Dianimono Metesa Carrick and a Jumano Wamusum Adebamano na twist a person Sabanasa Sir Carrick and a Jumana one Darren Fletcher and some other kind of staff no hona Omashe and some Etimia Sovinioma Ejama United Omutimono and non by a son of Siako what am saying na Manchester supporters woman Old Trafford woman ball players to yes and to be who shield because ana wa omat to omobuasi twawata mudugum mushie na Darren Fletcher and the Casade fan also I know the others were coming answer say supporters no more tutu a yanam omudibo because a man of former and yakra till the others were coming answer still now no mother some our Premier League no monyan yoma ye serabaya ebama fans no woman some any aje yentie Darren Fletcher and what is United equal FA Cup game no
Only Premier League games to play for. Yeah, fans weren't happy at the end, but they've got every right to air their grievances, and I don't think it was toxic by any stretch of the imagination. So they showed their disappointment, and they've every right to do that. The fans have supported the team for a long, long time and got behind them. Old Trafford's an amazing atmosphere. If the players show the right reaction, the fans will get behind them like they always do, because, as I said, there's still a lot to play for in the Premier League this season. Out with Cups, only Premier League games to play for. Yeah, fans weren't happy at the end, but they've got every right to air their grievances, and I don't think it was toxic by any stretch of the imagination. So they showed their disappointment, and they've every right to do that. The fans have supported the team for a long, long time and got behind them. Old Trafford's an amazing atmosphere. They're at the Cup today, so understandably they're disappointed, but I'm sure if the players show the right reaction, the fans will get behind them like they always do, because, as I said, there's still a lot to play for in the Premier League this season. Out with Cups, only Premier League games to play.
Premier League in the Man U for that, so Juma was somewhere Premier League in Yamaya Duma Wednesday, and I just Arsenal and some Anibobokua. Your fans at Chelsea, almost semi final 1 year. Your fans at Carabao Cup, and some other Koso Williams away, and your game Abobo Cravans at Chelsea, fear. Woman some other Bassa game, now your first leg game at Chelsea. Barcelona reporter mimi nyane na ropeni sa can have it na wa ba no omani Japan wonu sa no so our Portsmouth momentary timer wo make changes amaka have it ababa abagina aye game mu na Chelsea Arsenal supporters wo mo travel akwa way wo mo voices wo making head awo aye Chelsea Portsmouth wo ground so wo mo ni aje ka have it aba waka jaban down the drain unu so bogo seri agina enwa Mikel Crabon abaso sa why Japan because the movement and any mabia why Obaka Senya have it and a prior one of some aquatanche ache na sama cha abasu nyamiarma Wednesday no one of the referees number match official I found Simon Hooper one of the center referee Chelsea ewo fear and Arsenal semi-final first leg I'm Moises Caicedo I suspended no and a VAR and I Gerard Gillette amo and a behando serious game no and some babasianko na Mikel Arteta na mubusa so pani na se money Chelsea na kwakaba semi final lozo amukodru fia Anna I'm start to prepare for Wednesday and some game no na Mikel Arteta say adebakua and you positive and some other man say share Arsenal team no on say obi start na nkoya obi free bench ba na soldier obi some free bench ba na nkoya don so start aye adwani say when you are wait to me bo na no ya kra na Gabriel Magalhaes and chesa aye William Saliba omo me nyina kra prime no Yabon Sapioro and Capianum, Amosom Amiachre Pampe, manager number so chesa no aye positives because Amra woman make as many as 10 changes. Our side game yet Arsenal from a go down and some Abatisha Portsmouth 4-1 wa bra and Kobasa Konana and Fansa Martinelli and some hat trick. Our side game manager number so chesa and some there Edema the Gunners Omutimono and wa bra when you are when so Jumano one some to me bo chesa no peno Yaden update and some banana make us throw a throwing expert woman shall send an area to my set pieces no when him say become Marino and some like Asana and Central Bizana say as I say unu opponent bona munya set pieces now once opponent to the supporters I'm sure because we be able to go for 2 pound by Jumampa and almost any be she be any identity we be say much say the opponent no I'm fans come sabi omanya free kick monya kwana na yade wo musura ya saying and I'm also musifano yinche Mikel Marino.
Can you hear the fear from opposition fans now when it comes to set pieces?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a big tool for us. It's a big weapon. So we are training hard to improve at it. Obviously teams adapt to it, but you can feel the pressure sometimes in the crowd. You can feel kind of a run around the stadium when we have a corner or a lateral free kick. So yeah, it's about trying to improve in every category: open play, set pieces, transition game, and try to be as complete as possible. And I think we are doing a great job there.
Can you hear the fear
Omoda so ya Jumaden our set princess and ho and no aya Mikel Marino and our Tessa ya Dennis some Ademana Liam Rossini aya Chelsea womusu coach wa ban first game akoye maze will be also a ball manager baso any other coach and say one game or the akogu now the baso can you now so the one passage of play against aya Charlton bra was in a F crack just say Nania J or magnificent players our born in Kwanana baso san Kwanano womusum anima Juma Rossini Bonnier womu pia bono kwanimun tamamuncha so bona note waki boy du koko aya benkum so chasa getensenom and ya de Kwanano be a because of be a pray aya position ya na manager no do so kan nyina sa one on the idea our nim at the football no aya very important and some and say also winning match and yes bia na me bossy and chere say wonu madjuma obo nyame ani na wan wini a and fa so bia ni suntono de the most important thing is consistency ebeba ayen kunumri a Chelsea for no womo so edimu ni nyina na update manager e dia to dana Moises Caicedo wono so be so Chelsea ma start here and omo new coach now for sure manager no biam say wo demanding your money from wo anya kwadrosam waba aye Jumaden and also mo nyina no womo so abosan so mo come aye Jumaden anaba bia Chelsea ebe so mo kono nyina no womo so abetumi adru enti de ono so kan say womo abaya nioma pa ade o kan say a lot of good things and the coach na your friend Liam Rossini and nyina na yesema aye Moises Caicedo and some area tudwa yede kan ya beto onim say Crystal Palace aboy na your friend Magay Man City for na so mo fan real quick Manchester City for no womo abasa this week omo call boy no ho pa because omo wie Semenyo by the first game man of the match Osanche go we be en Juma boy to Magay dia no Manchester Pep Guardiola ni abre pass I was what the so something different as no a prano mu property this week here womo some abahwe now Pep Linders we be ko ba some Man City womo tro be shine 10-1 momo ba na ba na omo City for badge so anam kura na say na mu so mu nya 10-1 pa na omo bisa Pep Linders City assistant coach na say na Pep no o da so our Pep bi say we ba ko so age titles and also hey ono no Pep no ya ka ambitious coach where you one no more ambitious no woman to baako a no enso ha woman limit na oda so passion edema adwuma no eda so our ambition to mo de do ma so mo ya no sa fi no de also mo saka bia o se kwan bia so woman sansom atumika me no kasa Aston Villa woman so mo Tammy Abraham ede free aya ba Besiktas onum sa Abraham abo Aston Villa pay and no ko rawura mo no de akwakodru aya ba Besiktas report amenya no sa woman sa oma de sense Daniel Malen our Aston Villa no one some abaso ko nyame ya duma am say by way ebe close Roma epe and Napoli and so pentenie wo mu janu kwa mane kwa no mo de baako no anso aba be shemu abrano pay no enom by update aba ma me Barcelona champions aba be dru nyame ya dum wo ma be touch die born no pay by 7:30 and some our Spain na Chelsea Barca for na aba be dru way aye coaches e ko fa team no and some free airport by na so mu team Barca no ana ade aya team na eba trophy no and see aya Cheseka na Mpampe wodi anu awuram no aba be yikwa because omani prepare two buses and yom two aya coaches and a comfort team no and some bana flight ni mu a wo madru Barcelona before so mba be si form no wonum say President and AF Hansi Flick, sporting director Deco, and a team captains, and I am Mark Andre ter Stegen, Frankie de Jong, Ronald Araujo, Rafinha, and Chesa Pedro. Omri Camposi, what was your fun victory photo? Nessa, our Sakwambia, so President and Quadano, what would you check for you and Sana Timono, and some Abesi for more. Woman so as from Tisanio Maninano, and also across moment 10 year, a team captains, sporting director, and a coach and no biano so tinam we aya chasa also president kita aya glass on sabenkum ayina gumno hwani na atum sam say wine papa bi aje so bobia o masa de ti ban ma benware ba to the trophy a untwa bia na obu twa bia ji abinam nim sa Pedro kramiya ana we akọ onim pasada wo ko o je trophy ya nkonom ngase kire de o okay tinum da bia okay to say wo ji ayi 6 or so ba je doko 6 pasa wo yen tetia factory on yam that does it womo body bia osoro na report amenya no sa ansa me Ronald Arahodi o ohyem na adeba ko efa ne sa yehu dane kafaya ene Vinicius Junior omunyina Corona Araho enso mkobusa se Jack na fo yo kenyo me ko say moment kwa no marusu game ni poni o a chese because we ase de ball no pitch no so na ye akrafo but ye ball sinchan obia ni pana unkohia Araho e wa bontena nkaso wo boma ba sentimetwam onsa ha wo mu dinko busa so yo okay o hu ye a chese o ma dinko ma fefe because adena boy no e komu no e betimi ato obia enti omo ye ma ye femen na MC Spain ade omo bo omo baso sa vini aye adwuma dwen ni pa ho ene dane kafaya omo nyina de no eno so abam na ana Federico Valverde abetwa scan wo twa scan wi an ye be won say bia na extent of the injury no wo otena fie na watwe eye mienu bi ana say bia bosumi bi ntena awon Valverde scan no eno so aye adwuma on say no Frankie de Jong get the red card omo say aye one game ban ana obesa baby and nice CD but ninyi na echi no wo mo kyeresa one game ban no wo be serve nyame yarama Thursday Wamo bo aya Copa del Rey wamni Racing Santander ana babo enti gambasa ni Racing dia so sevia and one into one game no aya yawa dan obe service match na and so aya update about game no gusu akoso no wonum say Drew baby now Vinicius e complaining aya che ref no say ref o asema me catch fan la me yama ho won fa won kan kwa no oja no wato also already my catch my boy man here the bia no to for more pretender to say the no so ye no the bia wato no to form ana na just boy no complaining and some aya che ref say woman ani enkwa kwada na ye fa no say Lamine Jamal ho agesa no pe no ye the update Lewandowski was Rafinha no oni ball no too much na the other one kan say Rafinha no go papa Rafinha na hu no say no was abia at the right place at the right time na according to Lewandowski enra na Madrid ball block na chasamodie no makogu achiro mum yamum pona chesa bossa fano de bona ba ne nyina achino no odiri pasa wo munya abotere ensom ade ye na wase omonso aye na se omaje Super Copa de España one first title of the season in the back diaka aye Copa del Rey akala Liga and after Champions League Ghana wo busa coach Hans Flick eso penny somebody ba kokko diaka so aye difficult anya fosa o se bia ba je side titles ni nyina bat ni nyina chino womo so mbada so ya adwumade sana be a womo target omo sabeka yenti Barcelona a coach Hans Flick last year say wa Barcelona womo president SNA owura fan say Sheikh Nasser Al Khelaifi womo kambom amateurs womo free Super League ni mono mebeka chonso no Florentino Perez ayonkofa emsa say ama enra ye won say oma bam omo ho a chese omwe no mubisa president Laporta Laporta ye won say ayi bam aye Florentino Perez na ekwese no so Florentino Perez aba congratulate woba born abasuna odo diri basa subaina Madrid president ne danetino enso aye epitome of respect nasa utumu say wacha so ye pani pa nasanka enwa no aye the reversed ebia situation anasempo Madrid energy sanso anankono ho Laporta ebe kwakubo ono Florentino Perez no enso abaso but obaso kan nyina no say God of Anana Mbappe amani teammate anya amfama Barcelona adea Barca foni muade mo kase ho rough area mo sabe God of Anna any adene nyina no oru enfa no say Laporta say yaman twitwa say o say surprise no pa because anybody or some we kind ultimately so dim kunimo so dim kuku our some sam udwini pa am say o be a kind but unfortunate say be a dear to sama because woman carry God of Anna Emma mo kwaje silver medal and when some ye be mo kwaje mo gold medal no dey we be jina some mesem yanko ama say no pam de betu dwase Mbappe and then cite the teammate ama God of Anna ama so nyina no enom aya asoma presido ensom ade atudwa either say na anase bia nyame ya no botena ana Joao Cancelo enso ebe ya available ajama boboku a ye fa FC Barcelona some kasa Xabi Alonso say Supercopa de España no ehun kwa hye na hia bia sa enye important trophy and yes Barca for say na dey important no Jimmy Henry say La Liga no important budget and Champions League and some important but Jimmy Henry na Alonso say omo Spain a womo de defeat we air to omo chikra na Thibaut Courtois de no so he eno ball pa Vinicius Junior and so ball yeah na Madrid entimi and take advantage of Vinicius form was one kind the last time ball Emma Vini a nightmare Emma opponent and another brand yes so town kwadu in America ball pa wunu ya tisini datem enti ahono na osan kabia Madrid ejina and also editing kunim our Barca for so am no mo botugu Alvaro Carreras no abashe gogi banzam no mo bobani enti ahono na yade sem and also ha dwen pa na diamensa kan nyina no sa Madrid for no say wo mo da so awo gidi se season we abaya kama Supercopa de España and define aye Madrid almost season no wo mo gidi se aye den season no and some abaya kama pa ni nyina no ye kakra efum adeba onum say Napoli after Senro Koba so mo kwa away Inter Kobo 2-2 Scott McTominay man of the match award no Tominay say ha wo mo no Zamban Giza anyhow Kevin De Bruyne anyhow Romelu Lukaku anyhow Billy Gilmore anyhow maba 4 players we on any day obi a start Napoli na odia ko Inter Nama Lautaro Martinez entran chain anaso ompra Marcus Thuram empra Nicolo Barella empra Nasebia Chalanoglu ensumpra now said the Inter Milan ebesi affair and to say the Napoli cross ya ball game without a 4 key players way HSM amaya juma pa original president Aurelio De Laurentiis and so when ya kwadana ya jumpe fe omo 9 players omo nyina no wo pra atase hardin na so nyina chi Napoli kwadano and some other so bodjuma den our brain no and some update but onum say Inter from last season ebeka this season 13 matches against Napoli AC Milan and Juve. Wamabo draw Marco 6 and Umaluzu 7. Na same time 13 games against Akasifono. Womu winibi ninina ya kakrano and some for deba hunsamno ya deme for AC Milan assembly. The list said the better. Anyway, catch AC Milan for tia yemfas na discussion aye table so na discussing your man this era some your own to me sports buffet.
Has there ever been a salvation for a devil who is already in hell? So repeat the question again. Has there ever in the history of mankind said the devil in hell bring your salvation? This is a trading point. You see, Shadrach Bebo me on the screen.
No such
salvation to me call hell. That is what I want to know. The religious scholars can help me.
Okay.
Because United they know all the signs ye just a baby no don't call on the road
no Stephen Body ran obuza za question last year no odun ha na afi akumiameza eko ya na ha dream pa because I'm say mama man you for no aye bibia ho new say wo ho ye yo bibia kupa okay beza
yo
Jesuye.
Ya na hoe.
Oh, already adum brand.
Oh yeah. I say ya dey me only me stand wo United issues. We you know. So there's no need say ebe mu classic about
video no. I see. Oh video no.
You know. As you know. I know.
You actually me video bia mako bia video la hela.
Oh video no.
Masra etokwa si team ni mama etokwa si stance ni mama supporters dia bobo
sema kwa mko nchira ha mo amko nchira mo amko nchira ha na sema mko mko ha AC Milan dia na me yo be say Sam Tuga say oluzi 80,000 Ghana because of AC Milan.
Oh
na no kobuza sa de na me spirit be dey akire o because enu ase enya be
yeah also me catch us ti wo pass somebody that 50 billion
Man you know. Right, into for message said Brabashim na Ranioma Pico. So man you forces say for the first time since 1982. I'm so much free for a year FA Cup. My former about 40 matches this season. The lowest number of games are my boss since 111 years in the club's history. And a Barca for Super Copa. Liam Rossini, first game in charge. Arsenal, Massa, I know Shina Man City, so 10-1 year day. Nina Babasu new. Menante.
Yo, Classico no enya fall say let's just be attention because usually in European football we've always been saying say El Classico no a level above many of the games, even at the early stage in the crown. So we discuss rival matches and I say derby games in Libya. The nature of those games, and do the weight at El Classico. But for instance, talking about Manchester United and Liverpool, we know say gone are the days of we a far power. But right now, because of Manchester United, 1 or 2 technical transitions and all of that, sources are at a premium. And so level of Liverpool above run and say Manchester, it has really affected that matchup. We can also talk of Inter Milan and AC Milan. Kaneno ya kase bibi besia na open match bibi betimi esi wo mu ana ye Milano because Inter AC bishia it has always been a firepower, but El Classico not maintaining that level of relevance for a very long time. Ya kwa say ya bona friendly match ni bia yes unya she jesi no ko ade na bibia ba bewura mu. My key observations in the game no am pese me she Osha Adiana, why not catch us a Bassa contingent Rabba Bedru Nano 7:30 and all of that and the pictures back on Coco. So my observation from the game number 1 they say and now 4 central defenders starting none of them and a demonstrative an attitude of an elite centre back
within
that game of a Classico.
So both teams in
terms of 4.
Okay.
Way 2
backs, okay.
We had to we Asensio no ne partner Dean United Spanish guys and Basa so El Kubasi and the Garcia partner no 4 yo none of them. We are in a World Cup year. Ye countries back no miensa and 9 be a semi-final. Yeah, you know the home so say pick countries but we could do the semi-final of the World Cup and found say you will still be calling out for Spain. One, for them being an European champion, the kind of players are producing right now. But imagine say in a final third, players which here Jumani Yabomo. Midfield is a bit okay for me for Spain, but defense in the and she been crying. Now the Adina Sako Bioso say centre backs on 1-1. Only obi obeti make some me leader e wa kire ha me ka wo beti o munyina ya akobso pepepe. Okay. Garcia better ka so control Dean Heisen better ka say oni Kubasi ne bo control Kubasi. How a Kubasi ni Dean Heisen.
You say bia le no more free or more class e be shame.
That is the point. But Lino man bought a subpar club as compared to Barcelona and Madrid. It's a love the way there. Both for club because check. Apart from some leaders, almost are dominant. Because a dominant. Some as I tell me them how canon. And your boy kind of 50-50 on the street. So 50-50. Why never win a ball? No sad situation. You don't win. But talk about Ramos in duels. They won. Puyol they won duels. PK never won a duel, but he was so exceptional on the ball. During the first phase for Del Bosque, Piqué on the driver ball, and the best free. The defensive base were not the court, no Puyol and Ramos side. Actually, it was why the manager found a way. So Babo Piqué and then Ramos, Puyol not ball Ramos, all right back. But at this point, what has been the exceptional element for we say deba? It's Paul Torres money, Lino Mamono, or that's why I call our picture in this conversation. But now my dream say, I come out dream Bassadi, or to be started ball as a center back in the air. It's a car share, let him smooth. But none of them any impress me. Apart from this, there's also one other side of the game, and I'm sure, but I would want to quote the ukotu or presentation. Lewandowski said, Real Madrid played a low block. This is purely technical. Low block means any partner you use to block the man. No, block is a technical term. But you use so low. Just say no Madrid in pasa or mobile money. There are 3 lines of defense. The natural defensive line, midfield and attack. Now, on Lewandowski, the person say impo attacking where the first defensive line that comprises of Vinicius, Garcia and Rodrigo. No money now born a chi falling so deep. I won't try say as to why I won't person be any low block in Lewandowski air cannon. I don't know. But my main fan say your position player to be an or cancer one in their form. Yeah, sure you got to us so can say we deserved to win the second half. We could have perfectly won the match. In the first half, perhaps we were too cautious. Yeah. Kotwa Wontumi Nkasembia ma wonne me Yenkosunsu Alonso say ye both defensive game. The fact Kotwa you so cautious not just say na you slow kakra. Interfere with Lewandowski dey na say we use low block. Yeah. Now Shadrack can line up on to so na men kan Alonso, men kasem kakra Alonso. Why would you decide to go for a free with a raw, a 2 traditional DMs in Chouameni and then Camavinga? A huntiana. Na dia sa e man shoot no ho in the photo and say o sa de Bellingham so e man be free man midfield of Chouameni, Camavinga and then the Bellingham no okun ho kra Chouameni and a Camavinga when the progressive ball from the first phase. Who does that job? 2. So the Bellingham back midfield the make 2 we say you are telling Bellingham to play as a playmaker. But Obia onim Frank Lampard, Obia onim Steven Gerrard, no, onim say these were 2 players that they wanted to act like box to box. It's only me say Frank Lampard pass him obi play make for somebody. What would the person channel? They don't do that. Jude Obenya anaka obo emana ho or you're very close to the final 10 or yet it's a second striker, second and number 10 bisa. But then he was playing like a natural 8, of which I don't know any profile number 8, but he doesn't work like that. Yes, I know. Yeah, Sajumano. It would Chouameni and Camavinga Bacano. Then the team is so reserved, so conservative, and this is Xabi Alonso. Only the Madrid people expect to say, "Yeah, ube big game abo." Argentina na Adagula bench. In my opinion, a more conventional 4-2-3-1 with Adagula and Chouameni. Na Freno, I Vinicius, Jude, and Rodrigo. Na Garcia no Adanimo. So instead of 4-3-3, it should be 4-2-3-1. Now I convert it into 4-4-1-1 where Jude will stay behind Garcia. Now Vini, Rodri, Abimu. No you 2 no in Adagula and Chouameni. Basana because of Adagula, Utminya Bonako, passes can flow in a final third quite often as 2 say Obo Chouameni and Camavinga. But according to Thibaut Courtois, I'll say ni hu womu kakra, and it really reflected in the first half about almost 75% of possession. Nabasafono, and all of that. But this is the problem. Thibaut Courtois and Semna Wakano Asanya for the Amalonso or Casemiro. We didn't take advantage of this version of Vini Jr. Today. To me, he was a nightmare for them, and we didn't take advantage of it. How do we? Okay, so I know you have a question, but the person just said this version of Vinicius, I want to take advantage of. We no creative problem na dia to who or am for any course. Thibaut is telling us say this version of Viniwe is a take advantage but your game now we hold now what he's trying to put across and say there's a certain version of Vinicius be out without Mbappe but me a function. Now who is supposed to get the best out of these 2 players?
Send their coach now, the man in charge.
The biggest problem for Xabi Alonso right now is to design a functioning system that can get the best out of Vinicius and then Kylian Mbappe, the 2 best forwards of the side. Sade lie na onya bibi free Mbappe ho no we nya asem we ni ho a no onya bibi free Vinicius no. These 2 guys will be ready and fit for the second half of the season. He himself, Xabi Alonso, along with Jude, 3 players he has to design a system to fit them. Other than that, I am telling you, Alonso, on more than this season or Spain. Asabi America Trono. If anybody knows me, I've been following Spanish football for a long time. El Classico. Ubetumi akwa akwahye keten Atletico Madrid remo ase nyina Hetafe share 10, Las Palmas 20. Ushia so ida da bonoma de enche. But El Classico has been a determinant game in the futures of these coaches. They know. It will use Super Copa no. My besa ba league no. Alonso has to make a very big statement. Away from Madrid, you know. The Madrid chairman say, Barca team there, the missing puzzle, no, Julian Alvarez. So Barca nya Julian Alvarez, Babe share Lewandowski position one. Team na who no kosoro. Apart from that, Kunde also convinced me against Madrid and Ra as to why almost asu Chelsea Joao Cancelo no. Kunde a very, very bad one-on-one situation. So no so who the Vinicius here no. Apart from that, they are the party out they can't Lami game no. So when you wing out tormenting or to Jana Hong Kong, yes, I wing out so any deal. So when Gana had junior or no Kunde need to win Chamunko, but when Gana so better we work with boxing. Into what I isolate Lamine or top pa. Now oh bo Lamine can sell Odia, only sell line so be more slippery as compared to Kunde and Delamy. And it tells me why Basa Eko for Joao Cancelo, because he adds a lot in the final third. He underlaps and overlaps at the same time. But Kunde, what does he really offer? But the team of Barcelona, no, in my little opinion, Julian Alvarez, better the final third. Lamine, Rafinha, Firmino or Olmo in the number 10 or in the hole, no.
Now, Julian Alvarez say
LED line. No. This team is almost done. Sarami Huno, one Garcia, I will go post him. No. Center backs in the day, men for pressure. Jerry Martin, future power. Araujo, I mean, who the future no Basa, they will sell the guy out. I'm a Monaco. I'm a Jericho Monaco. But the imagine it's a Basa team, no, because I don't know who gave them power. But Lewandowski to be 10 minutes because he can't press, he can't really move. The mobility index is not dropping as compared to Ferran Torres. But in terms of finishing instincts in the box, being a predator there, only Lewandowski was also saying Ferran Torres. But Julian Alvarez brings the two on the table. Or to be running or movement to say, to be finish it. And why they can say the prototype number 9, the Samuel Lewandowski na Suarez mo type no. Ball no ye poor pass out me young word must share. Giroud mo de ka de to ha ka me pe. They are na we Giroud do the to the fan. It's a kukuru krusa ba benkum so Lukaku mo nyina you know. But Alvarez, Suarez, Eto, David Villa, ball no ye bad pass e cry no a. Obetumi asa ye ho adwuma asa na the ball no atonet. This is the puzzle. Basafo nya no be share omo attack honoma. With Rafinha America, Rashford the support to Lamine ne Rooney Badjimo, the team will be good. When for Classico you know is one no na mention it to be on the AFCON for the 8th edition in a row. The defending champions of the Africa Cup of Nations are fairly so be defending the title no. It is Samedoko 2010 no. Egypt well, Timmy defender was Zambia and Timmy defender was Nigeria. Africa Cup of Nations usually, of course, dependent so much on the local contingent, but yeah, it has changed. And Canada near fat coach from Poma some free fear a fat coach because Piamo. Yeah, fat master Gamo from Hasselfolk to be faster for them from all these players. Yeah, pluck them from your clubs and the corner. Yeah, it has changed. Hugo Bruce also emphasizing on why South Africa would have to really fish out for players at free top level leagues in the MOBA. And Shababi a semi-final like and once no. Look at countries that were even the semi-final. Analyze the pairings. Morocco comes up against Nigeria. Where we will see BBC Marrakesh, Rabat, BBC Hormo. This is a game of the African picking point in terms of the AFCON. So imagine how say, unlike years before, about to Tony say and Obekase, I think I was last week. Okase say, new. You tell you pass a young AFCON. Seke koya kabe embarrassing. Because you koya because enkoji. Sasana na. That's team singing na obia modern bono e was through. Your performance in was through. Share me your parents be o say. and it was so crazy. I think I've lost it here, but my parents be our semi-finals and any of the parents you know bet me a quarter final all right too, but those parents be a match up for a certain final. And just where we are. Imagine said Nigeria and Morocco game no Wednesday. I would have more time on that. And then Senegal and Egypt, my catch festival say a revenge the mass annual money. And I say there be a more solemn woman or revenge money because of Muji from one of there be so pass and I found man or Liverpool money just out in free more salons and not for revenge. That is so yeah,
Mate, but I say new. My Meza where and son of my bar Steve Meza.
Yes, yeah, I'm interested for you. And I think first of all, let's start war Europe and I'm the baby real Africa said the new thing, you know. But I think the El Classico came on Saturday. Make I say I've never seen an El Classico in the last few months closer to predict than we see. And I think the scoreline was really clear. 3-2. The performances. First half 4 goals. 2-2. Ubia clinical, but it took one person to be the difference between the two sides, which is who? Rafinha. For Xabi Alonso, me tell the statement after the game, and Yahoo tell the statement after the game. I said this is another game that they've lost. Definitely, there are other trophies they have to fight for. Or you see the word Krampus as a trophy we no Marco Gene cry.
And the most important.
And the most important trophy. Xabi Alonso, we the Wadaroma. Basa Unkwanjene they important. There's no friendly match between these things. And Real Madrid now will be coaching. Every single trophy counts. Just maybe I'm taking it say in front of the media. He needs to make a statement. Sometimes managers do some of these things, but in reality, Chairman, this is a trophy that really meant something to Real Madrid, especially Abrabas and Asho back to back. AGDSC or Monaso. Yes, maybe for rivalry's sake, you can be at the mention as an but in reality, yeah, this is another level for Hansi Flick. And they watch TV. Fish of Barcelona, how many trophies now? He has literally turned a club that was a laughing stock in Europe to become a club. Now they don't see them as minnows again. They Barcelona. I was also sure because when that was not one of the best selections I've seen Hansi Flick make in a game. First of all, I was surprised this was a game with Kuma. Why Gerard Martin started as a centre back? Rather, Frankie Dion, Eric Garcia as a centre back, partnering Pau Kubasi. Just in case, say a beer na or has the balance attacking trio of Gonzalo Garcia, Vinicius Junior Mo, ebe disrupted the Barcelona centre backs. As Okobo Gerard Martin a bit hardring. But this was one particular game I was expecting him to take the risk and start Gerard Martin, but unfortunately Wontumi and yet Emma Garcia boy. So look at how they considered certain goals and the Real Madrid created certain chances against them. Not saying Garcia is a bad player, not saying Kubasi is a bad player, but I think in recent games Kubasi ne Martin Abono, you see more balance than Garcia and Kubasi Yedei Ebo. For Real Madrid, they took in more risk, especially looking at the centre back pair. Chances Libiweba, Ebimba. But Vinicius Junior from that angle picking up airplane when the room Abetikano. Amo Masa Kwasa Abetikano was a sheer quality of top mentality Real Madrid did within that space of time. But now was more relaxed in the second half. But Barcelona, the firepower they carry, especially with Rafinha as part of this team. Yo, they be a same way Messiah cases should be say, not every king wears a crown.
Okay.
And Rafinha keeps on delivering that message to the world. The biggest winner under Hansi Flick of Barcelona is no other person than Rafinha. When it change, and the number speaks for itself. Now, Abema Barcelona for some no more can during the league first match no more boti Real Madrid no, the first El Clasico no.
Okay.
Barcelona fans make a starting statement to be said, "Na Rafinha ni inti na mo share." Then he comes back Then in a game tied 2-2, he steps out again and Barcelona wins the game.
Yeah.
So he has proven to be the difference maker in the Classico games. And they say that's so. Only Barcelona team won us more. Now it is a Rafinha team rather than anybody in the Barcelona setups team. In terms of pressing, in terms of chances creation, in terms of goal scoring, he's the leader of this side, and the results proves for itself.
In the time now, as a Barca results, and yes, the Musipen Nana, Obeto Muso Rafinha no. I'm saying, no Mudika.
Why establish that fact within the performances? Yeah. There are two things a player you can do to establish a fact about you, so you're a good player. One, your presence. Two, your absence. One, your presence. Two, your absence. In your absence, team never struggle. In your presence, what's a problem now? Team facing in your absence, solved. And I think for Rafinha, he has proven beyond reasonable doubt. Say as it stands, he is the most important player in the Barcelona team. No other player comes closer to Rafinha in terms of importance of Barcelona team. He makes them tick. And a certain energy be on the bad team totally different. And Real Madrid El Classico and Real Madrid ball game no. Obi catch us Real Madrid and ball game Real Madrid played well. And I said something about the first leg. Okay, Omubo league ni say Saya Classico we dey But I think this is the best Real Madrid game I've watched on my ball Classico nim. You find so say me rank top 3 and top 4 crown, but we better so be 3rd and 4th.
Like recent
El Classico games no my bono. They performed well. Just that few mistakes, individual errors here and there. And but you could see an intent. Our Real Madrid team, they were intentional about this game, said they wanted to do something. Alvaro Carreras born a tornado attack, a cast of floor. Yeah, so was a chance.
Yeah, it's a big true cry.
A tornado attack and a cast of floor. So that should tell you the level of performance at Real Madrid had done a D in that game. But it's all about overturning some of these results into a good stuff. Now, Newton didn't come over to they say Barcelona example na mema. You didn't come on with China make a chance say Newton. Whatever Arsenal will do this season, some person Omuji League neji other trophy said don't anymore. Omuji EFL Cup. Yes. Minister Steve O'Crasso this and come say no, a very important so Omuji EFL Cup. And I started example for Steve say Liverpool team now season we do maybe no more for competitions you know. So Omuji EFL Cup now, trust you me, Liverpool be 3/4 and a 4/4.
Okay, see.
The reason why I'm saying that in here, say, whenever a team is playing in a season, no mudum rebi na say trophy be tifri omusema ya obiane ni suban de. But I think when you win a trophy as early as maybe February match, a catalyst the mount in terms of how I be fighting for other trophies and that with him. What did they mention as no? Obi one more lose some of these trophies in so a catalyst man as I had there was soon na bema say bunati ayira. For example, what happened to Liverpool? After someone did that EFL Cup na Newcastle United show. After that, now some bibi omubo bia ne de baba fom bia na we ana yira. League no match bunda da. Ana omudiji league no. Iti wo check here. Jose Mourinho by England say ya. Jose Mourinho first trophy on fan go New Year so by EFL Cup. Because season no a pickidru stage bia February once above EFL Cup in February, January, February. Say February ending. So February ending, so the league top out the year. Or Champions League quarter final more out the year. Or FA Cup maybe a quarter final more out the year. So winning that no a push you mentally players no a piano. So for Barcelona, they can pick up the pieces from this win. It is not only a win for Barcelona, but definitely this can be a catalyst for them to push further for other trophies. I'm not saying they will win, but a catalyst will push you. Among the renewed hope said there be. And to also a renewed hunger. For Real Madrid, it can be two things. Either it breaks them or it brings a different version of Real Madrid out to fight for the other trophies. But the Real Madrid I know, trophy way more mabem. I know Sebastian Ash. But for a club like Real Madrid, if this doesn't turn out to be a catalyst for them to push for further trophies, I'll be very surprised.
They say we know how almost season.
And any can say how almost season. I say and how almost season.
Yes.
But any can say how almost season. So I'm speaking from two different angles. One from the Barcelona angle, that way a catalyst, the more almost said Debbie Yajibako, a renewed hunger for another trophy. But for Real Madrid, any can say we boom abem. Eh, ya dear. Name when to me and your catalyst so push Real Madrid, my trophy won't come so and your mama could the academy anymore. And then I'm in the BC. So they'll need to push further forward. They can't afford to go trophyless. At Real Madrid, we are managing now trophyless. Coach is very easy.
The Arsenal here.
I've said the Arsenal there was Moji Carabao at all costs. Say semi-final number one.
Yeah.
Also Moji. Arsenal je Carabao na. Also, on my bread trophy after the FA Cup. Mikel Arteta buy. How many players na that's what Arsenal team Moji is a trophy nibi. Or the Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, David Luiz, Permetta Sakamo, Alexander Lacazette. And the Arsenal current trend of players no mudi omobo boni nyina ne yawo. Obi anu wonu ma wakase mabo Arsenal je trophy wo. This Emirates Cup. Pre-season game and a community shield bi no ma bobo bi age. But so mutimi ji EFL Cup na yawo. The confidence going into the last round of games in the league. And the confidence going into certain games in the Champions League in the yawo. On because the Kai project na fa Mikel Arteta on funny be within the next few weeks in Nangu EFL Cup no so. I bet done in the season it will turn things around. Oh yes. When Manchester United had a bad season under Jose Mourinho in the first season, Omuji EFL Cup no hwede finish the season the Europa League. Ten Hag buy and then the first trophy di kaje na dey.
Yeah, Carabao.
Hwede o real season no. Yow. These trophies, they are catalyst. Arsenal project in the drew baby are some of these trophies. Now also to me pion. City Pep Guardiola no fast and your way ni agro. Pep Guardiola how many times have I the EFL Cup? Or Jimmy February and now push it team no. It pushes them to a different level. It me trophies are born within January, February, nobody no. Aye. I'm happy for Barcelona. Arsenal should prioritize this and work hard.
Is it my idea pa?
Yow. You see, now me catch you say sacking of the manager and the was say Pamo Ruben Amorim because Man United Ejumana resource oriented. What did they mention as? But I establish a second fact to say Didier Bepa na wo JC wo course no.
Sure no. Was it the next day? And I'm say obi so make similar comments about UK was say ofu so say man for forget figures no mun nyai say omu involve no.
And you Ferguson na class of 92.
Ambassadorial dinner the gymnast clever twem dada.
But on Pamo in free club.
Yes.
Obi aso nka say yem Pamo Ferguson in free club no. What you say? Na mu makora no, mo ma na mehwebo no nkofie.
Na say decision.
Na say ye bibia no obi atamfo. Because Fletcher be ya adwuma. We are pa Fletcher no nim say that formula. Before first game was so afraid Ferguson. After 2 games was see players near fragile. Fragile na beka. Yo, United adwuma na e wani so a efe. Ana efo ma wo. Na emomu komu a ana nim de ede. Ewum. Iti mimi hu ni say this is a club for the first time no. E was so mutimi accept the reality say team no enti say they said any TBM. Number 1, no munyintum sa abafom because there's still that arrogance around it. Say, yeah, na Ferguson time your G League say, yow, some your money na what you go, but accept the fact that anticipated the affairs a day. At any first point. Number 2, because accept it breaks you. Am I humble? What did they make us know? Number 2, then you embrace change. Change in the forget about Ferguson. Forget about the class of 92. When you say Man United ebetimi ayeye beyond the philosophy or the DNA of whatever the class of 92 and Ferguson did. What did they mention us? So break yourself down, be humble, and allow the team to modernize itself. Team na ya keko. Omunema bi omu ye na ya cake. United started for sporting director that Babra na England teams would also have sporting directors. United rely on data analysis. Daben until recently ya omuba wakofa F1 needing abaso me data analytics. The team has failed to change with time. So accept your reality yaw. Oh gono. Number 2, the Jack class of 92 ni Ferguson for 2 baby. Build a new dynasty. We never be been told some country or say me buy no. Mabe create something we call the new Manchester United. And yeah, Basby babes. And that's Alex Ferguson class of 92. Mom, maybe a class of 2028 and I'm assuming direction I'm the club na kunye. Bibi anyo ungu. Yaw. Until they realize that your team will be trying to
Clifford Quadi about say Richard Keys and the cast.
Richard Keys, I'm not right. Kim Swaka, right? Kim Swaka,
Moonlight Ferguson, Debiana, Muma, training grounds. No training grounds.
Wow, look. Mumani nyina home.
Mana mezaya tunu free.
To me. When you say that the supporters this we need to. But kakra bi na me fancy. Now me who say obi a posti ade bi say me say Steve will love the AFCON. It's na me dey AFCON. Me who say obi a posti say Ivory Coast were 2 players in the starting 11 about na me guys say they be we need 2 and 5. Yow. Do you know how Ivory Coast did not survive this game against Egypt? The biggest mistake MS Faye and say one started Sekou Fofana. And I referred Zaha in some of these games. What gave him the job and kept him the job and make him an AFCON champion? A drew time who he said also ye bibi no se san insano. Oba Cote d'Ivoire na omu group stage no mu qualify no. The next round, whatever he did was enkwara no mu team ni no mu ye good. But baby e drew ni crucial. It's a big games ni na start seri.
Later no dia.
No bench Sangare kra. Amad kra nkosa AFCON ni bi be dingra.
No dia dingra se be yeah.
It is no bo Fofana Seri Kessie. Not the experience for na dey agum Sergio Reye. This our boys no. So now with this AFCON, only Sergio Reye we agree. Only Masgrade we agree. But in a big game against Egypt, I was expecting some no. Game near too big for Inao. Yow. Inao no was busy for nothing in the game. I mean, a boy in your good talent or kuta talent, Newton, boy in Bob, but technically, but decisions are also taking a certain moment to be no yaw. And young could have dream. Amadialo, so game nibi. Wow, here game nibi. This is the worst game I've seen Amadialo play for Ivory Coast.
Before that game, Obiya discussed play of the tournament.
No, then count. But the Omu film club, but you see, she crash on the Gesan. But Obeti says Zaha, ya, o de Zaha koshi ya fatu tu se fatu mua. Ono Zaha no zero fatu. Onim de friend fatu. And I think that is a mistake he did. But we are in for a proper semi-final. Alata die. Yao.
Omania bro. Nigeria for. Omania bro pa. Aye. You say nye chinchina grand so be host and win. Ana
Nigeria so be oh play.
Steve Bray.
Yeah, me da say. And no I share Classico ni bi. And I'm share. Prove by ara. Aye, neno ane the only thing I meet me ashe. Many aje statement mezai make regarding Rafinha and any relevance to the Barcelona team. Now, me check it through almost squad, I stand to be corrected there. But the status for Barcelona no 5 AF products of their academy and Omunina in party game no in a way. Now, but I can't say coaches to way mame no. I'm not a fan of it. It is a we teacher in our class as a student with the I don't believe in that. I believe in coaching. So Hansi Flick in actually say for any other coach at Barcelona, they will be struggling. We squad no mukita on kwadane woman. Any other manager. That was why America said last season America said the success Barcelona Enyan premature. So we may add a bit of renowned qualities be like bear 3 to their squad now. They will have the Barca that we used to see. But is it then a club with me introduce youngsters? Now introduction is seamless. Now still remaining competitive. Agye trophies. Ne bi mo de ba ko mienu bi omo de hyem no. A big problem. But me hwemu yie pa saa de no happen wo club a omo be ye bi kono pekasa pa. So okay, the days of Arsenal, Denelse, Gilberto, Fabregas unyina wo no. How Fabregas developing a craft no. I call Basa by Esama Arsenal for enya Fabregas on faso. It was Chelsea that benefited from the game now of polishing the year. Because at Arsenal, no only elite in Ebo, Barcelona and before it was difficult or penetrating through the starting 11 because they had quality. Not that time it was difficult for any other midfielder. So it was Chelsea. And I'll share in a link up with Diego Costa. Chelsea benefited from the Fabregas here. But Manchester, the end of the day, what is a player about could be a dinner discussion. But I'm say the basis, the very foundations of Manchester, no, I had the Omo Academy. Now, go England, how many were the best academy?
City.
On the scale of Omo produce almost say Abeshe team, and also Omo Ton Krenye Sika. You will say Manchester City. If you fold the O'Reilly be bo, when take us a very. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Beboma, Liver. At the time, and your man Koye, the manager was backing him, colleagues were backing him, legends of the club were back. They were backing Arnold. Time out the game with the Arnold, the partner, nobody will criticize him. Curtis Jones, the same thing. Shekaleha, Ko Arsenal, Bukayo Saka, and I say, I don't get the name.
His son, Nwaneri.
He's playing. What is will be here today? Even Saka call, I think, call a drought, a very lengthy period without scoring. What's the criticism be? So Barcelona are there now, a few clubs in team yes are there. But Barca so a legend, check a Ballon d'Or winners, no? Check a clubs are producing the most Ballon d'Or. You find them over there. And to say a can legend or my BGB will give anymore was say or casa when things are not going right. It should be Barcelona, Real Madrid, Inter Milan, the AC Milan, and them. But you always find United legends talking about the simplest thing. They can't overlook anything. And Mami GD say that is how they want their club to be, so that the more relevance will be overshadowed.
I say Debian Yen can be being for club no
na forget time na Kenya ni say Ferdinand the name say
Wontumi
say be as hard name no be ringis but no busa Gerard I will say the player I'm so delighted to watch is Dominic Szoboszlai on your academy product, but Oprezi will be all putting himself ahead. But United legends, oh yeah, or time, no so you were fortunate to have a manager who knew how your manipulative system, and you're the best, even in a dire situation, because any other manager in a bar league in him saying Mourinho buy, Pellegrini buy, Mancini buy, can forgive a question. And they Lami Yama, Paco Bassi, Ariandro, your friends Baldi, for me, Wimunina, they have Wimunino, and your players are fair or more fail. But Omobo Classico, no, you enjoy competition. Why? Because it's only about the club, not about Femin, not about whoever. And Predator send artists as Javini in yesterday complaining, and our movie no crown. They are complaining about players able. They understand the reality. That is what the other half of Manchester. They've only the Oyenejuma. But the people, the conversation around, they are failing to live up to the realities of modern football. And stability be any club, and also the decision of Papa Nevers, Radcliffe. Definitely is definitely not the Radcliffe. Clef no baby or kojina no better form easily. So they have to find a plan. We need no matter what, this is what we are doing. I'm not enthused about the conversations around Manchester. Say Fletcher said also more fragile.
Also more fragile.
About you
has a confidence in you.
Players no na make no. DB or no. And run a Scott McTominay or about 2 goals. And run a Rashford don't so bem Classico a budget trophy. At the same bar sebi only member bear for our. Would you want to tell me and convince me say 4 in Subayepe? So we only new thing about back what no kushia a kakape where man crasson on the ball back. Remember in Subayepe. There should be something wrong with you. So that is what you have to find solutions and also dive it deep. No a problem. Morino Yari intimate Vanga Yari.
Only manager Bia Bana and Fano Bekodi had that it means problem in the managers
United. There's something wrong with Omo. That is why I'm saying say there can never be salvation for a devil who is already condemned to the pit of hell. So I say now we managers in Nigeria players and also bad, they have their problem. And you got to in a mojen so free sporting betray Muko Paris. Now I'm saying Chrome hold the engine into Umbra.
I feel now Marie now cry say
it's about time the players start performing. Manchester players now, I won't take responsibility because boy no send your mobile United and then yet they should solve that issue. Now to the AFCON way and AFCON yema underdog. We are underdog brachna the enemy. But this particular AFCON was made for the big boys. Now even with the big boys, you know, the gap nations be open up. No? Me, I'm happy that based on the qualifiers I heard Blasters, no? Young competition will be because born a be more born any quality or bench, you know, and omuye changer quality na the be show exhibition. Nigeria has said 14 goals in how many games? I think 6 games so far. 5 games. And we have 14 goals. That's Nigeria. Now Nigeria get the best defense. Before the game say I've never watched any Nigerian side more scarier than this side. Every area of Omu game I work it to perfection. Now I say cap maybe also because the game against Morocco can undo their calf because there is motions at stake against a team I don't see it ready, so we make it up for the World Cup now. Osha the other two, the Pharaohs are coming up against the Teranga Lions of Senegal. Almost substitution. Nicolas Jackson was Bula the Aya 2021. He was there. Was it 2021? He was leading the line. And near the bench, I know my friend 3 minutes beyond running Pong. Lamin Kamara, our bench. Crepin Diata, and then I relegated position names or Ebo number 2, Oboni. And I'm a leg Diof, and also agent decide. And now Ibrahim Mbaye, PAGs, and also Idrissa Ganage in the midfield. They are doing very well. So Africa and your generation. 4 teams in India are very competitive. Minya nanka Nigeria aka be ni akọ World Cup ni akọ hu de omo koye. But whoever will make it to the semi-final, it deserves the competition. And this is a tournament not made for underdogs. In this year, Zambia be remu mrebi etwam unya no nya Burkina Faso no abefa Equatorial Guinea. No. Competition will from start to this point. Ayo more pot one now more yadi. The event no akoye. The hosts omaye bibia kama enye Algeria for ya no more sour losers after losing complaint and he say but Nigeria goes no more share. No? It was just a clear definition of men at work and almost paint a picture art and F and wedding. Look at the second goal. Straight from the training grounds. Senegal Mali was a bit difficult for them. When you clear sight of more usual Senegalese brilliance, flair, but they managed to get over the line. But again,
sometimes you play ugly to win.
Yes. But the MMA one shot met Egypt ahead of Senegal and I said, Sa na ya Egypt for the name no be no more in their best years. Omo born enya far but unzo omo sheko. And the fact that they defend as a unit. In the Egypt, you would not see many players in the offensive area. One or two. Mamush no jina aso presika kranasala, I will say. No one ya tresege. Ubia Zizu Imam Asho onye fully fit. Onya injury bill at Ali. I think for a year now. On share that recover. But Imam Asho he's still involved in the game. Look at the assets are make here. So all the teams in the last four are your potential winners based on quality, no favoritism. So AFCON, indeed, I leave it up to Nyane yeah, expect it.
Steve, may I say, Mamma couple Emre na wofa Nebsi essay. They're not Steve Mokana about say club legends now they be now criticize players or say Arteta has benched Miles Lewis Skelly and no Arsenal legend is talking about it, but Mainu was benched and they were fighting the manager. Let's say for the big problem no was say the problem lies within the club and not with the club. The club should hire the services of a good manager and hand over the club to the manager. Jose Mourinho had to fight the British media when he came to England for the first time, and here Clifford Cheba for so and a day and by England on the day so Bauma media grow hokra na Kabo say bibia iku de
nyame adom wi aboko fa
wi aboko ya rade ase yenkwe
yerem na yentoaso na yeresere nnuama ABC akọ na yeberem ewo Lawson aso ye Lawson Beverages Limited o madaroma ena no pay de wom ene se enure de bebrewa dwaman so ne mo delay man beaters ana meka wasam de achiro se boa ama bema omode mo ewo mpem ekonkan we ye bema na beso mema yo ewie pay ya just one medro bi delay man capsules no ebo ama no so hansemo ewo mpem emamo libido no ekosro eye pa sa boa mo menses ni flow kama 0248619999 udu onum na fe udu pharmacy be bia also pay loss na dre obenye bia to high sense for daroma high sense wo mo tresem general campaign no ya sign astarte yuguso ayese nuama ebe kama ediama ye promo edema nemum nuama no ebi egodaso ho say ne ope tv na say ope rice cooker bi kettle na ope na say bia ope blender odu ani tra high sense showrooms now benye bia to ne bono eda so e was form ayatete so and the amamo showrooms na bi wo Kumase ye wa Dum ye otano so na ne otafo crown so ye ho mo amokufrodua wo hohoi anasem bia otamelea obetimi akon showrooms na afrefra obefre high sense e wo number isu na afo ne yedi nkomo 0302550000 na afi yedi nkomo ene de yeram na yemfa yen stories no. And so Emre na yeni nkoma kakra ye start ya ye Ghana ye league no na afi yeni nkoma kakra and found na enuama e course weekend you know ye found some around Saturday and a games no starting from Saturday be remo Sunday Saturday no how fortunate fear to Omansa Free House of Work a boy Emma team no e share back has for a new year a brand your friend is a Mauli Wayo and a ball go and no a 90 plus and was she and the Emma has go game no to go highlights no a Mauli Wayo and I've been say auto atna at the House of Work game no do one sem and so at the bar coach I Fred Masu Didi Dramani bomodin pa said the team no omugusua womo bomodin I said ye okwa we na points na na ja ogusua onon so efa nuama kama pa at the coach ya ye don sem at the bana coach at the atuja say weekend di Benjamin Asari ono ana chedema House of Work na Solomon Gbesi also ono an man no any rest so Concord rest, mental and physical rest, and what did my branch friend say, Solomon Agbesi, and no a coaching in summer, what they are to do now. Benjamin Asari, the dem has na you know, Nesse SM or Das of Walter Sydney Nasi, or I bet she, the captain, no, as a Bokama, Ama Izidi or Noah, and Nani Ajipa, I'm supposed now, but them Nidia, and Yazi Creno, Benjamin Asari, Benji, or Cow, say yes, my ba, Mini.
Benjamin Asari still Shatawal in Freno.
And I don't know a friends shatter PR even Summer Flex also or about 2x will be open we number open the number what about two also open a number and 10 and Gabi.
Less than 4 years.
Nasu are projecting Shatawali pa.
Shut up, project no.
But SM Benjamin Asari so I be kakra as a but shatter the own to me and doubt no over friend. Na your room na girls is at all in Frewana. You're fancy now. You're to a certain games in the Vasu. Kotokotinefi, Brekum Chelsea, was 0-0 Baba Iraq Sports Stadium, and we game advance with Diana Shemiano, Emma Carrera, Tikanumba, Comedia Marshall 3, Young Apostles, Saint Timanti, Go Stars, Equawi, Omni Bechem United, Bechem Chomo Kabakua, Woman Timanti, Dreams, HL 3, Heart of Lions, and so Timanti, Sradu All Blacks, Women Nations, Ebo 1-1, and a summer test, any vision, or more, Ebo Goles draw, say, and a game Sidesi Kwena Baba Iraq Sports the Menra game no yere tawe na chances dey be by Kotoko 4 ball ebi egui na eze enra na Brekum Chelsea fan no munya energy for cross a game we Mam Hubert Joe chance we na otimuzeka ebetimi atonet amana yeye nemumbo we entimi atonet azi na yeyi picture ne chewa unze na Karimzito hey biena numze bo we pa de ezenka etimi atonet na ese coaches ni nyina no obi aya let or touchline na coach Samuel Boadu o said the Newama City enra e game ma fancy na Samuel Boadu no say ono otebe Baba Iraq Sports Stadium ha enti Baba Iraq pa de oba ho a ya no on pese obelusu game o Baba Iraq Sports Stadium ti enra bo we a referee no age no anana was wanted once in to ne nza ho referee ne ba no so masa de o ye de mze ese yellow card na e come out waje yellow card na ana o se there be obesa kanadwene ana referee red card Emma coach Samuel Boadu say na coach apalai pa nti coach Samuel Boadu ana who say one vama wo na say anu odin pa wo ho
on a military officer no
yeah nti emze no nonsense there emze no do before complaining adia
so it means say oma coach yellow way no okono
yeah
what say Samuel Boadu aka bibi
no
ebi anya ne de to no buy street red
yeah
because when I'm in the hole but the reaction is said or sound down ho ban chibe ma street red
or TBB yes or TBB T incident no any said the coach reaction is here when say adri painti eno anama coach Samuel Boadu and so a chair na drink kakra referee say do baby our drink chair no o chairman broswa mena Western Kutami na coach Karimzito after game no den sem kakra to do as league in the obejia and yes o tenefie bo draw sa eba hadri nti coach Abdul Karim Zito on one able
wasn't targeted. At a point you switch up formation. I saw you go with the two top. Morfin Donzo partner with Kwame Poku. What informed that? Well, because we needed a goal. We don't need draw here. Seriously. If we want to win the league, we shouldn't be playing draw at home. It's a fact. So definitely I have to change so that I get to this thing. But still it will go away. Does this derail the plan of wanting to win the league or nothing has changed? No, unless they
to Samba O'Neill and run a modemo a conkai man of the match a call them as Samba O'Neill na yerem e can say Dreams Henry Heart of Lions game Nasto Dreams LED 2-0 Amia Sabe Twaso ama ye game na no e nkoma kakre free o e de e by don sam na de benso ne nwunu tata e wo pitch no so we Dreams o mu game a e no e course no honsam and e de ba na coach I friend Ahmed Fati he say the Swallow All Blacks o manya jano kwan as the weekend one snap bench assistant coach and a ball All Blacks game against nation it is there Ahmed Fatina nanu omo fan buy from Egypt ejeje no ho on video analyst in ba o is there say modern man crackers o mbebo naked akọ dressing training grounds mo patch also my sremo any ade amomo man time ne mo kire say modern mono from still Ahmed Fati ye jano kwan amano call edo die fro de ba Karela nso any aduana
coaches no mo ko form ba
omo ntwatew
mo dollars so no afa video analyst account no me hwe ba ne krom ni no ye adwuma ne man kra na sanke bi a foreign coach na do dia ni pan benya no local coach local video analyst and I say be a local just say one no on fi no on fa foreign player but no man dollars a month but on my boy don't so how many goals but I bet amwa sanke bi a club ne ka so yes tendo ya be ma $5,000 obetu kroma
local player
but me kwa fa foreign na but no be man says ka on tractor apart from Mbella me hu kotoko play bia ne Mukwala ana no obeye adwuma wanjim
enye easy
ba kroma no we be follow local coach on few local coach e boshe oso na onya de broni oba so me yehu o pamono so do ko FIFA no asabo ka say tam
onsem no no
we be fan krom no ontua ne ka be twa kwan akwa abasa the risk involved in few
akwai bai omo bodondo di nanim enye easy botwene ne ade a welcome say coach ye hu no su coach da enso nnuama nkoye Kamara against Karela Kamara Jamfi Kamara no obogo de maduana super player Kamara ekasai after so omo the game no ba na wi enti kakra wode atudwa
the game I ball in the make person na me say very good on my because push Karela last season I think say omo be how ball ha na Karela so tell man no go start omo be higher or team very tough man but let's career cash I really said this is the energy 3 points
now before say obam no me so say coach no kasai and come be no no die
Abdulrafi I player the Madriana former instructor FC and Africa current under 20 player Benjamin Sevenyo and upon me said them di kan to Jan enche Doma Adriana Stars obe omo player omo edin komo edre change Benjamin Sevenyo e wo Doma make us see a league table no say and it's media 37 Gold Stars 32 Adriana e wo 32 and Asante Oroko 31 points as e wo 31 Samates 28 Karela 25 say ana table no esi ko hwe omo a omo guase o na ese nnuama nkoe fancy en fancy na be from remwe na omo meto
oh yeda se woni nyame nko mate na yebe yesu be hwemo ha
okay so you team
tanko ahye go stars local coach no ba ko no moja no kwan kra
amankwa
so they were assistant and
assistant one of the assistants not main
really about how many games
about 2 and 3
no we really say
really ball dreams with you and no ball mid wonders were away and no ball medium were away bechem were away 4 games coach Amankwa last game your
so possible 12 points no Brunina enya say wa man say
Osha Wonders Accra.
Okay.
And a
dreams with you 6. Na me dey ma watakwa no ye FA Cup.
Okay.
Yeah, until league here dreams fie Wonders away.
And obo me dey ma ofie bi mu league. Outstanding game and you on the boy.
Yes, outstanding game. So 5 games and about draw.
5 games.
And no draw. Yeah. And ko bobichi.
So for only Amankwa no ka etisay.
Just no bu sampani for but if on the fan no me so e fa madwuma ntimi me
talk na be
and so let me update
personally me face you man no because me send them so out of town.
Yeah.
To my friend WhatsApp.
What's after Hoho game no. After Hoho game no me am check it
after Hoho game yeah.
Okay. Almost Hoho 1-0 after that.
Because my last game no.
It almost
no brother training kra no odi atire ko bi kwa no odi training
it almost 3-2 against Dreams. And omo 11 Wonders no almost 11 Wonders 3-2. And omo ball draw against Mediama. And omo ko lusuti abechemu one nti okuta 7 points out of possible 12. Okuta 7 points. out of 12.
10 the points ratio no.
7 points out of 12. 7 points out of 12. It is all check points ratio. 7 points in about 4 games. So 4 into our average, let me say, not less than 1 point per game.
Okay.
Coach Tanko, I built a very nice team on Mediama. Now you're born. And the Papa who is in the standout on 4-1 no West and 1 Huabaso. A Juma Wayan or man a reflecting. A one such fine gentleman, a Muspak. Mediama, a club president, a fantastic club administrator. Muspak, or a fantastic club administrator. Hardly do you hear say interview or kekeka and say more church. He's always behind the scenes and what to give us say. Makada biya ubusa sivo say sivo udi kotukwachi. Herbert man some type of administrators no. Amoko Hariza call more type of administrators no. Amoko Jojo Umo. They are living our game. But most pack more that's what more resistant that now. In trusting Coach Tanko say on family team no. First of all, watiki green or honum. To give him confidence, say you're the ope, sabe you're the ope, but you have my trust. Coach Tanko team now builder for media must say no. They are not one of, forgive me, they're the best team currently. Yet top Ramadano, they play very beautifully. Sequentially, I'm the one about Harley would make them kick a direct boss or Bobo Wontumi. This is most pack. Now make them call Africa no. Now per them or the man make them players no. And then we say Papa we serious about football, including your technical team. Because we come pack. Look, and some men can make for Tanko who, but the foundation of Tanko
so would obey Jumana bat. Nipa no de adwuma ma no anye na se bia intua player ka ye man winning bonus ya koba we aba home ya bo e ma ya wo coach mo adwuma no be kwa
we show pa ya otama me come yetia and ko Tanko so I responded so much wa jekwa no so ye right now no onim say blaster omo me for that prince owusu no coach Tanko timi e bench no yes or bench is sabi or player na player in uniform and your rotation o team and that rotation developing into real competition within the squad. Therefore you team free bench but no be Nkrumah Kevin Nkrumah because Kevin Nkrumah blaster player no started therefore you also well form one of the G League but the coach came in at the right time and say squad you want the media some media has one of the best squads. God knows Japan Africa no ne man no man tell the starters. They say God knows no team bench no. Now Fuzi Taylor, one of the revelations from media this season. Fuzi Taylor. Tanko year Juma media papa. And now Kamara Dean wicked about brace as a right back. Now Coach Tanko you soon in a way be or you know after the season you continue. I mean fast answer 7 me had teams in my face but the kind of team I building now. We're building team number a lot of flexibility. Kamara Dean the primary position number 1 as a right back, number 2 as a double pivot 1, number 3 offer line so ako. So coach no cry and country and Kamara Dean and him say yeah kwa man normal take drop up center backs into my man kwa line so and it was so perfect. Madrid say media makoso keep your form we are. They're not so distant from the trophy. FA Cup or League, no or probably double. But we are right away in the middle part of the season, and I hope say form of my picking. Omakoso I keep that same form, that same intensity. No more on the Kotoko game, no me tia me yaso me tia nko bechimanko follow your game. Manko campo kra na me wababa yara. Omofa video no George a show somebody card no from bra. Cause somebody record and can was bia anya live ya elbow mu next week betima say be different
conte crab di
I mean like a very part of the game. See na court to the sanya yini nyina na me kra no okota no mu bodu hu no as far me can say na ha na hia me anya we no ba bia yini see no build up na kasa famra player bi ya de bi ho enu nie hwade bi ha George should have shown a yellow card to that player I think tin do hwade bi ha after this and somebody react here na she on post ketua bi on hold ha player no John obeyire no hwade player no obeyire no This attitude is a yellow card. If George is a hard guy, now I'll call some of what do so. Some of that.
Why are not a preventing coach?
Watch it here. Watch it here.
Referee.
Why? What's your job here?
Yellow.
Massa. This is sanity. Oh, block. Didn't you block? No. George should be more tougher than this. Yeah. We slash. I say you can knife. This is a batter. No. Now the yellow not channel.
He came in as well. No. Oh, banana the card kurano.
Oh. I mean, him do a kind of chain horse, but he should have asked a question. I saw the player who said, "Oh yeah, and the call." I didn't like it at all. And I'm just so I didn't like it at all. Players referee fellow should be empowered. Nobody should block you. You have the utmost power on the field. Yellow card straight, and they are showing him no delay some seconds across the action. So, but they should have the control on the field. Now, coach, I want to post some show and as I say. Okay, so when they are normal, record there, the card you show Mutomba, it is very normal. Then say or identify so you free hall because or Hannah because nobody can Sameno before card we coach, no the car go kontokwa. Yeah, I was just behind you. And the card there, it was so expectant. But my main fans you, Coach Karimzito on your hopa. Now how are you in a selection? Are you in a preparation at the bag game on yaw? And right game ready and yet. Na game no so original touch liar. Yeah, na pressure ne assistant for bound chain niema bebre ntumi nya game no hwebium. Madwene kyerem se coach Zito san kwachiri. On pick 90 minutes we nkoa. Ma obi understand no no san hwe game no bium. Obe feel bad about certain decisions, especially on the selection. First of all, yeah, obo 2 quick runners in Inusa and a Peter Midu. Uwie no na obo Donzo and Nasoto. On the face of it, Peter Midu is not a natural finisher. Inusa is not a natural finisher. Those who buy a league, he hasn't proven to anybody say 90 minutes in a German will bet me and get goals to the Macrobia. So meaning is one goes bad dry kakra. Goes bad dry kakra. Now goes in a banning pono ya quite a fast way the batonet. Now how many the beba? Look, this is where the problem came in. Why would you start call yourself and a Hilaria double coach? I mean, why would you start those two players? 2 typical sexes. That is why they all started Baba Idrisu. Now the Baba Idrisu for us I come home. Call your set. On Hilaria double profile for profile.
Okay.
Naturally, no. Omumi no the border try halfway line no. They are not so much comfortable moving on again. And to try halfway line no part border so jam will be done hot on.
So here a ball carrier.
A ball carrier, a ball progressor. An incisive passer. Technically, will be a bonnet done and I know to be Jato be our brow running. Hilary, or pass it 20 and you know good in chem and an achieve Hilary double. Cause you set or try halfway line now. Bronya, what Kakukoti one could hear? Akukana Jones and Mujane. Or former Bio Pebia, cause you set or try halfway line or former Bio Pebia or Ranessa as a hellish chicken. He doesn't stick to the position of the man because a pa or your 6 Hilary done a chin. He's been forced to move up. It will draw we are not watching. Okay, Mambuso asem. Baba Idrisu, feel wait about the 6, wait about the 8, wait about the 10. Naturally, players are almost strength because your set is a typical DM. Out to me ball left back. It is a case of Hilary no mobile 6 in the bia. Or push it because free ho. Because free anyone on in the moon. If you want this, man, it is my job. I can analyze it on the screen for you. Because you said, or in the manu was I could quite 20 free so not Jenny some no Janino. Aimlessly, you can blame the player, but to be occupied ho. And now the Hilary also the one that try halfway like we are. He's not a natural technical passer. It was an hot no Baba is. Baba is all possible lose into no about watching it. Number 4. Who brought those 2 players in the game? Especially for 4-3-3. Now the Chama one game number 2 and I'm say koto game ni. Kozito. Uncroftna watch not disappointed.
More watching and assessing.
Because selection, coach Benny was sorry, I know selection. You do that with back room for no. They analyze the game. Analyze for. One after game, no I come home meeting. Charlie Alpha. So they are the people who you trust. What was that selection for? And Hubert John is not a 10. He's a natural 8 with a capacity to score. It is almost 6-4-2. Now I don't count one. What have
defensive approach?
What was it? Peter Kobox and what case when you say?
Run to me.
Patrick said you cry game na why na Wakotoko game na same against Pregum Chelsea who say Patrick said wa cross halfway and more than 5. If somebody has that evidence, ni panamamente. Halfway line no. So Patrick said do ba first one na Kotoko ball boase no. No more lucky creativity. Patrick and including young apostles 1-on-1.
So instruction and
I don't know. I am not so close to the team apart from what I watch on match days. And I don't know the American just the me but the me who say who Patrick mu as a onim cover. Patrick said okay say Marcelo. But because Marcelo had somebody to cover him. It's be Patrick need that confidence right now. Couldn't move back over in ten or something is wrong. Typical for should have the best from wingers and the number 10. Maybe now 8 back, we know 6 back. What did we see? Kotoko selection in yet. Could you set in a Hilaria double dear? So in my opinion, even boy we banner, but do catch the banner.
But do you DM?
But do 6 natural DM but do crowd 6, you know. What to be job on to them. One of the players are born in Charmon. I say, you know, look, my son for the grand check coaches, you know. Hilaria double. Could you set Omumi no ball moha before Umbeja ball na corner. Na ball no touching more than 5 times. Hilaria double. If you don't know, analyze the guy. Could you set before now ball na sabeka ball no beja ball na coin or back touch ball na 5 times. So you have these 2 players. We touch it 5, we touch 5, not 10 touches. The ball is static.
New, it really hurts me. Say game Nababe Drew Sambre and it's the same bit on Kotoko. Last year by this time, you bought 18 games in the league. We na Kotoko kuta 34 points. This season, you bought 18 games away. Kotoko kuta 31. And we are 3 points short of last season. Maybe on the team they could do. See, I bet me akwa yechi kra ko heka kra because that time na coach Ogum. No Okotoko no. Squad Ben and Ane Kuto Ogum as at that time. Players Ben and Ane Odio Mobo. And Ane results Ben and Ane Pieba. Now you be Joni Kotoko. Na set ko Joni Kotoko. Most of these guys here we season we crazy in your moko monko. Including the likes of Rocky Drama na munyi no mbefe moko ya or the akopie house of dreams kon nemu akọ baby. Now, whatever that is happening now, statistically, it does not favor Coach Abdul Karim Zito. In favor, no. Kotoko, a point tally, enye. A few or more breast. Saturday, higher na me catch Kapu say. This season, I deba kwa Kotoko struggle or home pass a team so much league in Ibida. Number Kruma say Kotoko team show this season. Mediama befa 1 point go. Adriana Stars befa 1 point go. Ana Brekum Chelsea so abefa 1 point here day. Edeko. Samatex or G League ni bi da no Kotoko ko ho no ye day. E ba bia ni Gold Stars ana Kotoko J 3 points wo ha sei. Dia kan nyina. Omushia sa teams na dey struggle. Bayawo. Ena me pese e di nkomo bi about Zito adwuma ene Kotoko. Ene what the future might look like. Meme nkoma me medidi ni nyina ne bibia che se Zito onyina ye.
Onyina ye anazo
onyina ye.
Okay.
Ne nine no e 60% out 40% in. Yes. Na Kotoko ne mu ache 2 ne 3. Because ebi ogidi say baby Zito aye adwuma na duru ni season ke ma na nye dey. Ewie. Ebi so gina say da bi yawo Zito ye ma ne nko.
Nyoma no mama ogun anwie no.
Ebi so gina say da bi sisi e ma ne ko a why na wo ko fa na de na ye dey. E de na ba. Yawo. Me no. All of these issues that is going on. Obi a odina baby a yem Zito bi ani pakro di se fata se wo so kasa asem no because Kotoko ye 3 points short of last season baby a omu 1. Obi a odide bi odina mu se da bi yan twema ni wie season so obi e wo bi because see ano de okofa na ba no. Yaw, de na kire se wo de ne ba sisie ya. Season will be better. With the kind of players a Kotoko was say the attitude of some of these players. Nimensa the also young no bia wo terrain we mu no yaw. Minim but me personally, your coaching terrain na Ghana Premier League no eya ye one way dodo. Who the idea? Zito free was the next name will be able to be able to anya maso akunadu a almost yanko mu afempo manso wo ha ba bi wo kotoko legend yanko fa ne mra anso wa o metena se akase yi debi yanko mi kasa mo bodu ekumase ni abrante. So you definitely hear about one name within the terrain. It is yaw league aye boy pan ka o appoint here so be me replace it to a wa hwe ma ho na wo so ka fa no e wo so fa ni port so first coach the otoso second coach and ameboa and the otoso third because you want to win the league. Yes. Na ma hu se bi mu bobo din bi se so adu no ya dia ka so adu Blacks man tonight e ma ne koy. The fact of the matter is Zito is not doing well, but another fact is Kotoko failed with one their squad planning and two. Yeah, within the current terrain, this Ebia Kotoko is ready to go outside and bring in a top coach. Ebia me too kwine me kofa coach bi o wa man on it. Ah ya we die me tua on the baby the Coasters when they decided to appoint a coach. Almost here kwa man anameboa. Yes. Yakob Belgium yakofa coach the naba Branebe coach because almost when say Oma exhausted the local terrain. The eti omu feel say Oma exhausted no. There has been Michael Osei meboa. Gordon Abroad and Nam Hobi meboa. Frimpong man so abeya adwuma ni bi meboa. Frimpong man so kwa coach aman kwa ye bi kakra meboa. The next coach can on person more appointing the crime so Kuradu Alpha Meboa. And no say there be ya exhaust your system no kroma say yempo bia ye kwa man on yakofo bi deny dey. Edinaba. Unless they are ready to say no. Yen kwa man on it. But I think the squad planning of Kotoko has been poor and I've been saying this. Zito will go today. Which personally I wouldn't fault any leader at Kotoko. Name mum baby a messa for to money say you failed with your squad planning. I am Sinajuma. I think almost failure more priorities in terms of squad planning. Yeah, how do you buy a like for like profile without buying an 8 who can also help control the game? And then you may job plan a kotokobre. Because only Manuel Nchindi, I'm not saying the Prince Bedu signing is bad. But yeah, Hilary Adabu A6, Oprani and Yobiama Nimbo 6. It is all the Prince Bedu bad. Now what provided quality depth? Because he will Prince Bedu on Nations FC. Name in 51 Newton Ekasa said, Kojo just what 5. He will do this one on the drop paper, no be fabo no jab on the akono. 8 Papa Ben the whole league ni mo amun play 8 ni bi ma. Ama 8 onu so betimi abobo ni bi ma. Den waton Albert Amwa okwo. Replacement Morfin Donzo o se 2 anu ayira. Monwe hu said there be team no center forward anu ya de pa na eja ne kwan ma ne ko no. You see the squad planning and whatever they are trying to do, Joseph Ablo waja ne kwan ma ne ko. Someone now contract details and also hanging in the balance. There na more here in terms of squad planning. When we besa the coach for Fraba, no one say won in konsai ko. We besa the for Fraba, no one won in konsai ko. And there are people who support some of these things because omuni say coach for Fraba omu play about the room. Ana club ba ko kasa da bia.
That may be say. And the season being crime those times now Korokoji League the season being now because we the season yeah supporters much like we fight it towards a common goal and I say be a dear bakuni in a pinto yeah so the omu boss no crown the BRBT BB the BRBT BB Mumra Stadium so aboy oh my hebo Kotoko sign play aboy one extended contract aboy Bibi wo ho asem ka ba yaw they should tread carefully. You can sack Zito today, which personally I have no problem and I've justified it statistically. Zito improve beyond reasonable doubt say adwuma no the performance na kire say won to aso na mmom odwen ho kwa kire na opeda mu na atena se na obusa ho say me ko fa coach foforo ba afina mbe squad plan na me ye ne say mo be ko the same tangent amko e ya na and number 2 yet tenase ahwe the local terrain coach be pa na ya ade a yenkofa ne fa because do obi basisi yi na Kotoko FA Cup round of 16 quarter final when Timi and qualify league no is 6 points between omo and Mediama when Timi and Kodia meaning say what boka gu kwa because coach na pam on you give him compensation the oba no so no betua ne ka so this needs a deep thought
and a proper assessment to finally come to a conclusion that both parties ne kwa and obia better dina supporters ne so ani atimi age anya sa yaw players no mu go on and the attitude of these players the attitude of these Kotoko players sometimes people say adamu bobo fa kwa nyame mpacho mo fanche me sorry mo fanche me mo fa hu bi amokoba de mo fi se mo pe bia na mo ye dey na mo ye na mo de mo fi se mo pe bia na mo ye. I believe there's supposed to be a sense of responsibility from these players who are playing on the field of play. A sense of responsibility. Sometimes you don't need coaches to beat certain teams. The intrinsic motivation alone. Kotoko level no mo de bo brekum Chelsea first game no away no. Yaw ebe 30% na no mo boy no.
So what changed?
Yaw attitude. Because brekum Chelsea game no mo boy on the first game everything looked like they wanted it. But we say no bibia chesa say omo pe as omo mpe as omo pe as omo mpe as omo be as omo nye. Sometimes a woman say coach be kwaja player de bia na mom a true time I was also here ho bo there's no sense of urgency prepare boss and you be na sambo no na asage man of the match di entia because yaw ono na be committing himself to some of these things and play well. If these players can be consistent with their attitude like the way Asambo now, Emma de be team ni nyina kamaka say omu nyina oba yaw de be e bebo wie na 2 or 3 players be o team we say mu a omu ko ayi omu ho week after week obi abo somebody week after week obi abo Lord Amodin week after week obi abo Hibejodin the rest na dai Adumane so I am seeing Yabotre. They should speak to players, get the right choices. Some person Mosaki coach and do their squad planning work.
Yes, can also somebody assign.
Yes, Kakraba, Eisi Kanaba. Abetamo Sikanaba.
Yes, can also somebody assign.
Abetamo Sikanaba.
I'm not even talking about the transfer.
But
what I'm saying is, you don't see Ramatino. Someone your signings now. So when I go to play about maybe a due diligence, I'm saying they can play attitude.
Now,
you boom ma kumamuno when your team no bebo pa.
Obedura.
You boom so baby or no. A homo nyina ebi na nam ne kapo discuss na no pese adwuma no. Ebi ni ho. Ana se nyame wa dum na wonya bia. Ma adwuma na se wonya e makra.
Yeah, I've spoken to
bon not mo me makra.
I've spoken to more than one person omuye closer to the team. One of the biggest issues got to company for with players ni nyina na say there's too much comfortability in the team.
I say you rented the amount and I want to a bus before training. So draw more time no numbers from coach training. And salary bus squad boys coach training no. Obu on one nam kwan wia.
Salary came 10,000 and came 11,000 12,000 acha 28 29. Obi agent.
So we now start so more rent dying. No more to dying car. He who feels it knows it.
So or pa baba hana obeyire no abo onya beduru a office waduru yaw but I'm happy with House of Folk decision to put Benjamin Asare in the post.
I can last
now say me say Benjamin Asare na number 1 fanutum Benjamin Asare House of Folk number 1 the obey bia no manem next season so ni hono ma agbesi betima be dey aba beto aso yaw. And I think for Didi Dramani to adhere to that, they say, "I'm a baby, I Oba and also BBNC House of Folk are continuing to win. Oba and he is the captain of the side. Kabon the side captain of the team. To Aba, Momani Nana, the Mesa we make last week I was saying it say he is your number 1, he is your captain or a national team number 1. Yeah. And her national team because the moment you disturb Asare, oh high national team no. Or kwa agbesi next season and they are 6 months per anyway.
Okay.
By Mr. Romuso Munche games no. You games be one more. I know they are going to be setting games at House of Folk Bebo home. Yeah. Maybe 11 wonders home. What I say teams need be home. But high profile games major of the games in India.
Number 1.
Hey, one captain.
Okay.
Asare captain.
I mean, I say, I know you are coming on the team. Benjamin Asare is back. I will post no the Mahas of work weekend. Another clean sheet to the numbers. Amanuya Mayakama easy. Waterproof paint, no more leakages. Easy. Good afternoon. Say we have a